Hey, welcome everybody. It's Sunday, 11:55, and I figured I'd stream on Sunday, 5 minutes early. Anyway, what's going on? I went and got my second shot yesterday. My arm is a little bit sore. I feel perfectly fine other than that. No big deal. I've heard of different people having different symptoms on the Moderna or that other one. I had the Moderna. Let's see who we got in chat here. Hey, Red Light, how you doing? Hello, Gary T. Dominic, hello. Betty Boot 45, how you doing? Hello, Chad, Marcel. Do I ever get in a 3D printing slump and I feel like I should be printing something all the time? Well, look behind me. When I first got into 3D printing, I felt like, oh my God, I got to print this. I got to have that. Oh, wow, this is cool. I need to buy that. I need this. I need that. Well, yeah, you get burnt out. You don't want to do it no more. So it happens. I don't print very much unless it's for a video. Usually I just got way too much stuff that I need to sell. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, everybody gets through a slump where they just kind of get burnt out. They don't want to go online. They don't want to be on Facebook. They don't want to this, they don't want to that. You know, you got to take a break every now and then. But if anybody would like to drop in, I've got a link in chat. If you'd like to hop in, hang out, you're very welcome to. I'm kind of had a dead battery in my truck this morning, so I ran over to AutoZone, got another battery, and they've jacked their prices way up. They no longer prorate batteries, and you got to pay more, which sucks. So anyway, double hello. Yeah, Marcel, I dropped into the Droid build yesterday briefly. I wasn't there that long, and I stuck around. I kind of really didn't have much to contribute, so I just hung out for a little bit, talked about my speed controller that I actually smoked and caught on fire, and then I left fairly quick. I wasn't there all that long, probably, I don't know, half hour. So, Pop 3, hello, how you doing? How's it going in the UK? Yeah, I thought I'd come on early, so I'm thinking it's probably like 8 o'clock in the UK right now, 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So anyway, yeah, I'm kind of working on my Droid project a little bit slowly, trying to figure out what I want to do with the colors. I started to do some red with one of those pins, and I don't really like it, so I'm going to change it. I use a chrome pin on the top on the aerials. I did the light in resin, clear resin, and I stained it, but it didn't come out right when I put a light on it. So I went ahead and sanded it real good, and I just painted it black. So at least it's a nice fine contour to it. Then I chromed this little ring and stuck it in. There's these two little inserts I got that lights go behind LEDs. And I originally had printed these out of PLA, but then I realized they pop in. You put an LED in the back side of it, so when you light it up, it changes colors. So I reprinted them in resin. And anyway, that's about it, really. Just slowly working on that. Our next live stream is next Friday. Hello, Matt German. How you doing? Shadow Fang, hello. Yeah, if anybody would like to drop in, I shared the link. I can reshare it right here. You're welcome to drop in and talk about what you got going on, what you're doing, what you're going to be doing, or, anything you want. So then I got a bunch of printers behind me. I got 4 Ender 3s I'm selling. One that has an XL kit on it. It's an Ender 3 Pro that has a 500 millimeter XL kit right back here. And then I've got 2 regular Ender 3s here that have easy AVLs on them. They got C270 cameras. Most of them have polycarbonate wheels, lots of upgrades. And then I have the 4th one in a box. It's mostly parts that I never did build. I wound up taking the hot end off of it, and I think the control board out of it. So, but, anyway, I'm probably going to ask, between $400 and $500 for all of them together, package deal. So, got to kind of figure out what I got into them. So, and then go from there. But, yeah, I need to sell them. I won't be shipping them. They'll be local pickup in Las Vegas only. So, I'll probably, hopefully, put them online the next day or two, put them on Facebook Marketplace. So, oh, cool. Got your new printer. So that'd be the Anycubic Photon Mono X, right? Very cool. Yeah, and I finally picked me up a camera. I got a Canon DSLR Rebel TI 6 or 7, whichever it is, right behind me. I picked that up on Marketplace, and I got the cord from Uncle Jesse for the resin lapse. And then Etsy screwed Uncle Jesse and Andrew. I don't know what happened, but they took their store down. They don't have access to it. They won't tell them why they shut them down. They thought they were doing everything right. They're building the cords at home, and then Etsy turned around and shuts them down. So and then they try to get an answer out of Etsy, and I guess Etsy basically told them, stop calling us. Real professional, right? So, yeah, I don't know what their problem is. They make plenty of money. Why are they worried? I sold my Spawn statue on there for $300. I had it marked down from $400, and by the time all the free shipping and all the fees were done, I got $176 out of 300. So yeah, I think Etsy's making a good amount of money. So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, let me show you here's another picture here. Well, here's the Lipo battery that I bought, and it's like 11.1 volt. And I got 2 of these, but I'm only going to use obviously one at a time to drive the Trank Droid. And then my speed controllers are 30 amp little tiny cheap speed controllers I got off Amazon. I went ahead and I wired in my XT60 connector to it, plugged in the battery, and then I spliced 2 wires that are currently burned off of this to each track. And then I put the connector in the receiver to bind it. And then I had it running around in circles, just sitting there spinning like, wow, this is pretty cool. I didn't have it in tank mode or anything set up. Next thing you know, I got a big puff of smoke, and then I got flames about 6 inches tall. But rather than grabbing my camera and waiting to take a picture of the flames, I hurried up and unplugged the battery because I don't want it to go boom. So I'd rather, the hell with the picture. So don't have a picture of it on fire, but it happened. So I'll just keep the speed controller as proof. So it sucks. And now I ordered more, and they're not coming till Tuesday. So I wanted to have my droid done this weekend. Been working on it, get it all hooked up. Now I got to wait till Tuesday. So anyway, that's about it. That's where I'm at. So 3D Maker Hub, how's it going, buddy? I heard you weren't going to be online for a while, but you are. Unless that starts tomorrow. So good to see you, Daniel. Hey, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, yeah, I'm okay. Not feeling so well today.
Let me turn my volume.
I said I'm not feeling so well today.
How come?
A little bit tired. Just overtired.
Well, drink a Monster, do some vaping, run around the block, call your girlfriend over. You'll be all right.
I'm quitting that. I'm quitting that. Not
right.
my girlfriend. I'm quitting Monster Energy drink and drink some more healthy water, etc. So I think that might be it. All the sugar's missing.
Yeah, I'm down in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm kind of far away from a lot of people. So
I'm in UK.
Blasto, hello, how you doing? So let's see. I'm about to do a body full of money. Oh, that'll be cool. That'll be nice. Love to see some pictures of it. Or you can drop in you can drop in and show us. So if you want.
Yeah, I actually have a couple of pictures. What I did.
No,
I know.
Pictures? Are
you
doing lithophanes?
Again? Yeah, I know.
Oh wow. Very cool. No, very nice. Unicorn.
Yeah. The other one I'm still working on. So.
Oh, cool. Oh.
Yeah, it happens. Final Fantasy
7, I think.
No, 14, I think. Yeah, 14.
All right.
So yeah, that's what I've been
so much
doing.
For me remembering my Roman numerals.
Yeah, been doing a whole bunch of. Those are all misprints. So I had a whole bunch of failures this week too. So I'm not really happy.
I was looking on Facebook, and I think it was called G Fuel that I was looking at. And let me write that down again because I wrote it down. I was trying to see where did I Google that. G Fuel. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out a couple of days ago to find out about it. Is that the one that's already pre-mixed, or is that just the powder? So I'm thinking obviously the powder would be better. Then you can mix it yourself and save more money on the product. Let's see. Where am I at on chat? Gary T. Oh, awesome. Started printing the body on the droid. Are you working? Which droid? The first one, second one, or third one? Get the powder and pre-mix. Okay, I'll check into it. I wrote it down again. I'll try to look while I'm on. Hopefully, while I'm here, I'll pull up the website, and when I stop the stream, I can look at it. Yeah, I seen that. It's a pretty cool looking model that Nico put out. Godzilla and King Kong. I like the part where you got the little buildings and people. When I was a kid building models, I loved things that were like that. We had little tiny people and buildings and big giant creatures or something around them. It's really cool. Hey, what's going on, Dum Dum? How you doing? Okay, Gary, the third one. All right. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I've got my dome right here that I'm trying to figure out what to do on the color scheme. And I went with a gloss white, and I didn't like the way it looked. So then I painted a flat white over top of it, like a white primer, and I'm leaving it white primed. And then I'm trying to figure out what to do on some weird colors. So then the base is here, but I don't have the little insert that goes in the base I have here. I'm chroming it. Got a little part here. I got this little part here, and I'm using a chrome pen. Let's see. These chrome pens work great. I love these things. It's got a hard plastic tip, and you just dab it, and it comes out to the tip. It's not like a Sharpie. It's got a hard tip on it. Paint runs. You shake it up. Very cool. You can pick these up on Amazon. They work perfect. These liquid chrome pens for doing chrome work. So anyway, that's my opinion, but I think they work great.
Yeah, I have to get some of those chrome pin.
Yeah, they sell them individually on Amazon, and then I bought those other markers here. Acrylic paint markers. These work pretty good. They're the same principle, but they're not chrome. They have all different colors.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to get some.
Yeah, they got a hard plastic tip on them.
Wonder how long they will last once you open them up.
Well, I don't know. Mine haven't dried out, but I think the tip is like a spring loaded that seals it. So you put pressure on it, you shake it back up, more paint runs forward. Sure, eventually they would dry up, but so would any paint. But yeah, they should last a good long time, I would imagine. So, yeah, I got to smog my truck in a couple weeks, and I have to drive it X amount of miles before I smog it. And then I had a dead battery this morning. So right before the stream, I pulled it, went to AutoZone, got another one. That's $130. With only a 3-year warranty, they no longer prorate batteries, and that sucks, just like everything else going up in the world nowadays. It's just something else going up in price.
Wow. That's a lot of moolah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I have to download some stuff more from Bradley Droid Club. The new... what's this new thing? What's it called? This machine, but lift up what you guys had also on your show yesterday.
Oh, I got a picture. Oh, let me show you that right here. This is going to be our next droid we're going to do. This is so cool. Let me share my screen. Once we get this one that we're done working on, this one here by Mr. Bagley. Let me full screen.
Yeah, this one, I mean, yeah. That one looks cute.
Very neat.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I jumped into the end. I'm lagging a little bit here. It's got a place you can put soda, beer, whatever in the back, and it pops it up.
But only fit 2 in there, huh?
Yeah.
You basically need a whole fleet of army robots of those if you want to supply a party with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can build that for my wife, have a little ramp so when she wants a drink in the bedroom, I can just have the little robot have a camera on it, which I doubt I'm going to put a camera on. It could drive up on the bed and she can get it out, put her empty in. So
that would be nice.
Oh, let's see. Messing around here with a couple buttons.
So you're getting rid of 3 of your printers, huh?
Yeah, actually 4. There's one in a box. It needs motherboard and hot end, but 4 technically. Yeah, I don't need them. I don't use them, so why keep them? And as I slowly do reviews on other things, it just takes up more room, so I don't use them. I don't need them. But they've all been upgraded and have a lot of things on them. So anyway, I just need to make sure the beds are level and they're able to do a test print and they're good to go. So, and I'm not going to, and anybody that buys them, they need to know about 3D printers. I don't want somebody buying them that knows absolutely nothing. And then I can't explain it from scratch. What's an easy ABL? How does a filament run out center? So whoever buys them needs to understand basically how printers work. So anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not much talkative today. I'm sorry, but I'm really tired. Ooh, and I just wanted to come on here just to see you and say hello and you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured I had my shot yesterday, and a few people thought I'm probably going to be out of it and in bed, not feeling good. So, yeah, I feel fine. So my arm is a little bit sore from the needle where it poked me at, but other than that, I feel fine. So
Yeah, I had a little bit headache, but that was it. So, yeah. I should be due next week, this month, or this week or next week after that. I should get my next shot. So, hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, yeah, I didn't even see that.
yeah, I invited quite a few people to hop in, so we'll see who else hops in here. So I'm just going to be working on my little droid thing here. Got to glue the eye on it and work on some electronics. I have to buy some ad fruit, I think they're called, ADA fruit, whatever, little tiny LED round things. I'm not sure what they exactly are, but I need to buy some of them. Yeah, see, I got the little eye right here. I painted it black, and then I went over with a chrome pen, and then I put that clear lens in it. Then I'll glue that on the front of the droid, and then when I get a LED, I'll just stick an LED in there, and it'll light it up. So probably a white light for that one. That's for, I believe, the holographic camera. And that just glues on the front.
You always can get a real one, a holographic, like a projection thing, like a projection TV device.
Well, if you was to build a full-size R2 and you had thousands and thousands of dollars in it, maybe I would see if they made something like it. But this is just a
they make a little
toy.
one. I think it's like $60, I think, make it, or $40. It's a little one, around about the size of a pen. It is, or a big marker pen. It is, and it's pretty powerful. They make it for kids, I think. It was really ruggedy too.
Yeah, I have one Ender 3 V2 also.
Oh.
So I just haven't had a lot of stuff lately to print, but I need to get some more videos out. So I got to get working on some stuff. So,
yeah.
And I'm slowly working on a video for Comgrow. They sent me their $50 laser to put on my Ender 3, and the laser works fine. I just can't find any software that works with it that's easy to explain to somebody, so you can easily make a G-code file, throw it in the Ender 3. So I'm a couple weeks behind to getting the video finished because I can't find software that works great. When I plug it into what's it called? Lightburn. Lightburn will see the printer, but it isn't operating it properly like my K40. So I just got to figure out how to get it to work properly so I can actually do a video where I can show people how to easily buy it for $50 and be printing that quick. So anyway, it's an ongoing project.
Yeah.
And I rearranged my room and I put my cameras and everything. Well, let's see if I can show you. So I brought out my main computer and I put it in here. And this one monitor wouldn't go sideways, so I trimmed it lengthwise. Then I got my outside cameras up there on a shelf, and I can watch TV on that or watch my outside cameras. And I just took a ring light and I got it kind of jerry-rigged up there above the Brio camera.
Cool.
And here's my main computer right here. That's my gaming computer. So let's see if we can take a look at the room here. And there's my messy desk with stuff everywhere. I've got a dog over there in the chair. Yeah, Nikita's over there laying in the chair. And then I took 4 or 5 boxes of models and put them in boxes to clear out room where I'm currently sitting. And then I've got to box more stuff up. So let's see here. And then peeking around the corner, that used to be my patio, which I enclosed, and I got my spray booth in there. Kind of hard to see, but let's see. There's my resin printers on the left. You can see the Resin and the Anycubic. You can't see the LED Mars. It's set back on that first mat. So then I got my K40 laser in there to the right. You can't see it. Anyway. And Zolan was going to stop by yesterday. Him and his wife were coming through town, headed back home, and he had problems. He had to do an oil change, and that held him up for quite some time here in Vegas. He never made it by the house, but maybe next time. That would have been cool to meet him. I'd give him a couple cool stickers and showed him some stuff. And anyway, so maybe next time. By the time he finally got his truck fixed, it was getting pretty late, and they had to get back to where they live at, so they weren't able to come by. So that's why I didn't live stream yesterday morning. So I thought he was going to be coming by, and it just didn't happen. So anyway.
Cherry, I need to go. I'm just too tired, you know. I just wanted to pop by and.
All right, well, not a problem. So,
yeah,
thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I don't know how well the stream is going to go, being on a Sunday. I mean, I was streaming for 4 hours, no problem, once or twice a week, and then it started fizzling down to me barely getting 2 hours out of it. So, based on how many people drop in and hang out and what we're talking about, I'll go anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. So, we'll have to wait and see. So, but yeah, thank you very much. I hope you feel better.
Yeah, I hope you too. You too with you. I hope everything works out for your show and that more people come to the show. I will ask some friends to come around and hopefully they will come to the show.
Yeah, on my channel, I've got like 2,340 people. And when I get to 2,500, I'm having a ton of giveaways, but it's just taking me forever to get there. So the way my channel is slowly growing, it's probably still a few months off. So I've got a lot of companies and people, including Matt, that are going to do giveaways on it, but I just have to get to 2,500 first. So it happens when it happens. But yeah, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Alrighty then, and my camera went out of focus. I turned off manual focus, and it should be fine. So I'm at the same distance from the camera. If anybody would like to drop in and hang out, I'll put the link down here again. If you've never been on camera before, hey, it's fun. You just sit there and you talk to the camera, and you talk to whoever's talking to you, and people talk to you in chat. It's really cool. Nothing hard about it. It's easy. So, and you can even have an emoji, which I don't really like when people do that, but you don't have to be seen. You can just be heard. You get to have a picture on screen of whatever you want when you drop in. So then you can just talk. But anyway, so what's everybody up to? It's Sunday. What have we got going on? Any cool shows you've been watching on TV? Have you been watching, what's it called? Winter Soldier and something? Can't think of the damn name of it, but I'm watching that series. That's been really good. So anyway. Let me glue this other eye on the droid. And I got to glue this grill in down here. See how that's going to work. Need to do some more chrome work on that little part first. Resident Alien, yeah, excellent. The season finale, yeah, it was so awesome right there at the very end. What happened? That was hilarious. Yeah, very good show. So, and I believe Marcel with Off Road Access 3D said he worked on the set of that movie up in Canada when they're filming it, the series. Yeah, this isn't recessed. I don't know why. There's not a spot where that drops in. It just got to kind of eyeball it, I guess, line it up and glue it in place. It's kind of odd. So I better sand off the paint, otherwise it's not going to stick to it properly. And I need to find a way to dirty this droid up so it doesn't look like a toy. So I've got a rust kit that I've never used, but I really don't want to rust it. I'm not sure what to do here. And I no longer have propane torches where I can put smoke damage on it. Or acetylene torches, excuse me. Turn on the gas and get a lot of smoke from it, but I do have charcoal pins. Oh, cool. You got an airbrush, Dwayne. All right, awesome. Yeah, I seen Nobody. It was really good. I didn't know how well the actor was going to do playing the part, but yeah, surprisingly, it was pretty good. Yeah, you can do ink washes. Lots of different kinds of washes you can do. You can buy sets on Amazon or individual colors. I do have a bunch of minis I want to do some washes on. I just haven't done it yet. So, yeah, cool. Keep them coming, Marvel and Disney. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah, it's cool. You know, you go to the movies or you watch a movie and it lasts, like 2.5 hours or whatever, and then it's over. But this series is cool, even though it's, half hour to an hour every week. They just keep going on and on and on. And they're usually all pretty exciting. And we've got somebody else popping in right now, and I'm not going to leave them in the green room for more than a couple seconds here. We've got Chewy from Lithypex.
Hey, what's going on? What's up?
How you doing?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Just kind of tinkering around here.
I had your stream up, and I was, taking care of a few things on my website and stuff, and I was watching your stream, but I had it muted. I wasn't able to listen. That video you had of that droid that had the arms when it was steering.
Yeah.
Who did that one?
Michael Badley did that one. That's the next one we're going to be building. The little
really?
The drink droid. I forget what they call it. Sam Prentice named it, and Mr. Badley kept the name for it, but I forget what it's called. But yeah, it's like the first droid that we did, and the base of it is like the one that we're doing now. The tracks and everything, the lower section's identical. You just basically print a different body with a few more servos. So it's similar to 2 of the 3 that we've done.
Watching that droid show with you guys, I generally will throw it on when your guys are on. When I'm working on behind my computer and stuff, I'll sit there and watch.
Hey, Scott.
I swear it makes me regret getting rid of my FDM printers because I want to do it so bad. But I mean, I could get more FDM printers, but my wife would probably kill me, considering that I sold mine off, and then I want to get more. And then I want to spend money on electrodes and controller boards and everything else. She would probably shoot me. I've already spent a fortune with just resin alone.
You have such big resin printers. You could probably do that droid in resin and haul everything, but it still costs you a ton of money because they're so big.
And the resin wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be that. It's printing the tracks that I haven't got to the point where I've gotten to a rubberized part of resin yet. I know they got it out there now.
I don't think you could do them in resin, but yeah, I forgot about the tracks.
Yeah, that's the one thing that holds me back, is that. So, but I do have some new pieces for you to show off.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to show this one off first. Well, I belong to a 3D printing uncensored group, and someone did this one, but did it anatomically correct. But I found this version on Tinkercad, and I was just like, I have got to do it. This is a Jessica Rabbit. It was on Tinkercad. Or not Tinkercad, but Thingiverse. It was on Thingiverse, and I like Jessica Rabbit, so I'm gonna airbrush this one up and paint it. But yeah, I'm gonna chrome out the microphone and all that, and I want to do this. This is all gonna be done all glitter. It's gonna be all red glittery. I'm gonna do that. So there's that, and then
this chrome pen will be perfect for that I'm using.
You have to send me that link for that so I can get me one of those.
Liquid Chrome. I got it off Amazon. The brand name, it's just got a big W, but it's called Liquid Chrome.
Liquid Chrome. I'm going to have to remember that. So, yeah. Then my new cup cozy.
Chewy.
Exactly. That's right. I'm chewy.
Very
So,
cool.
I mean, the best fitting cup cozy ever. I mean, I'm going to airbrush this one, and get it done. I literally just took this out of the curing station about 5 minutes ago and slid this in there to see if it would fit, and it would. But this is a bang inside there, so it's one of those taller cans. You have to put a spacer in it for like regular size, like beer cans and soda cans if you want it. But the larger cans, the bang is in there. It's
And
a
this
little
is a
snug in there.
good idea from Dominic is tell your wife that you got sent to you for review. If you buy it off Amazon, well, Annie Cubic from Amazon just sent me this, and I'm going to review it. Oh, okay. And you don't have to say for it. So
yeah, I did do a review for Amazon. A guy hit me up and was like, "You do resin printing?" He's like, "If you buy one of these, we'll refund you the money. We'll give you a free pair of these flush cuts." Right there. Highly, highly, highly recommend them. If you are into resin printing or any 3D printing, these have been the best ones I have ever gotten. So
yeah, the blue ones that come with the printers work good. I even use them on toenails.
yeah, they work great on fingernails and toenails. I use the same thing. I use my flush cuts on my fingernails and toenails. Yeah. But the one thing I don't like about flush cuts, a lot of those that comes with the printers, they come with the spring that has the hole inside the arm right here.
Yeah.
And those springs, when you're working with resin, they get gunky and it will pop out. And then you lose that spring action. I have bought so many flush cuts. I've destroyed all my flush cuts from all the resin and everything else. And these actually have the spring embedded in the handle, not into the arm. It's actually into the handle.
Okay.
And these have survived me a lot longer than the other ones have. Awesome. I mean, a lot longer. And they don't get gunked up. I mean, they clean out real easy. And you get a 5-pack for $20. I mean, it's not that expensive. I mean, and they're really sharp, and the spring action is really good on them. So I actually thought about producing a video just about these because these have been a godsend. I told him, I'm like, I'll try them out. I'll review them. I'll put a review up on Amazon for you based off 3D printing and stuff. And I told him, I said, if I like it, I'm going to order a pack of them. And yeah, I ended up ordering a pack of them, and I got them all around my house now. So
all around your house.
Well, I mean, I've got my workstation with my computer where I'm sitting at now. I mean, I do a lot of stuff with 3D prints up here when I'm just wanting to sit and do stuff on my computer and then back and forth. So I do a lot of things here, and then I got my lab downstairs, and then my wife has her office down the hallway where she does her painting, her 3D print painting and stuff like that, and she uses them also. So I put them all around in the 3 main spots around the house. So,
and we have an eye.
Nice. It's official. I got a Saturn coming.
Nice.
That has been a hard. I mean, unless you want to pay scalper fees, that has been the hard printer to obtain.
I've got that a little bit off center, but I can't. It is what it is.
I think it looks good.
Looks good from your house, right?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Saturn, one of my friends here in town stopped by a while back, and he gave me a great big long sticker that said Elegoo Saturn. So I cut off the Saturn part, and I put the word Elegoo on my original.
Yeah. So. Nice. I like, I put, here, I'll show you. Here's my, there's my, that's the sign I put on mine.
Frozen Sonic Mini 4K, I think is probably the best thing under $400, but I've never tried it. I just hear so many great things about it, but there's a lot of great printers that are under $400. They got a smaller build volume, but the Mini 4K would probably be, I think, the best currently.
I would disagree. I think the best for if you're wanting to go resin would be the Elegoo Mars Pro. Elegoo Mars 2 Pro. It's $250. It's got the speed printer. It'll print 2.5 seconds per layer. It's got the 4K screen, and I'll tell you what, I have not had a single problem with my Elegoo Mars at all. Like, I've never had a bad screen. I've been running this thing for over a year. I've never replaced the LCD. I've never replaced the FEP. It has been an amazing, amazing printer. So I'd have to say the Elegoo Mars 2 Pro is $250, and it's a great, but it's a smaller print bed, of course. But
join both groups on the Facebook or multiple groups and read what people are saying, what kind of problems they're having or not having. I have the original Elegoo Mars. My screen went out after about 6 months. Had to replace it. I think I replaced it twice. Then, like 6-7 months later, it went out again. And then the touch screen actually went out because when I went to hit all the buttons, I would have to take my finger almost an inch below the button to hit to get it to work. Elegoo sent me one free out of warranty. I had done a video on it. Once I took it off, I realized that somehow magically resin had got down inside of it. And I noticed that on my Anycubic Photon, my mono, that somehow there was a little bit of resin on the case. When I took the cover off and I went to check the print, there's not resin slosh or spill anywhere, but somehow a little bit got on the glass or on that yellow case. I don't know how in the hell that got resin on it, but I guess it just magically happens. I don't know if there's moisture, and somehow it's the only thing I can figure. It must be evaporation of moisture and resin's just getting on other parts. So
if Elegoo is watching, seriously, if you go any bigger with your printers, do not have a takeoff cover. Seriously. Like, I've got my Elegoo Mars, and the cover doesn't bother me taking the cover on and off and everything. But when it gets to like my Phenoms, I'm glad I have a door. I'm grateful for the door, because I'd hate to take something that big off the top and then put it off the side and have to deal with that. Then you're getting resin all over your case. That's why I did I put the little handles on the side of my dome that I take off, just so I don't touch the sides anymore. But I mean, I still get resin around the edges. You got to take alcohol and clean those all off, as long as you take care of them. But I mean, like, I try not to touch my screen with dirty gloves.
Do you have handles on your bigger vat on those bigger printers?
No, it's got the knob on the top, and then I just grab it. And
when you lift off the vat, are there handles to grab the vat, or you just have to probably? There should be little nubs.
There should be. And they did that with the new one. What is it? The XL they did that with, where they put the handles on the vat to make it easier.
Yeah. They should have something that sticks out to make it easier to grab because they're so large.
Yeah. And I don't like the idea of scooting it out, because here's the thing that I found with the Phenoms is the Phenoms, when the secure down the vat, has little brackets that come up and over, and you screw it down and you're pushing pressure down onto the vat down against the screen.
I just kind of teeter-totter and get it to unstick, and then I slide it out.
If you get any kind of moisture in between that FEP and that LCD screen, it makes a suction and it doesn't want to let it go. And you got to pop it without trying to damaging your FEP. And I hate that you got to pop it and slide out. I would rather lift that.
Why aren't you putting Rain-X on both sides?
I never do.
That'll solve
it's not going to solve the problem, because the Rain-X will just keep it off the FEP, but it'll still keep it on the LCD screen. And there'll still be a suction. There'll still have a suction to it.
I don't have a vat as big as that, but like I say, on my other vats, I slightly lift them up, kind of teeter-totter them. They unstick, and then I slide them out if I can't lift them straight up.
Yeah, the Phenom doesn't have a lot of room to teeter-totter.
Okay.
In that bracket. And so you kind of have to just work it, but you really have very little movement in that vat to be able to get it to pop and slide out. So, and I hate that.
The Mars has a little L bracket, but the two mid-size printers I have don't. I just take out the screws, lift it straight off.
Yeah, lift it straight up. And I would rather be able to lift straight up and then take it out and just put handles on the vat. And I know that's how they did it with the XL. They got rid of that little L-shaped bracket, and they've got it now where it lifts up and it's got handles on it and you can take it out. So they did improve that with the new one that's coming out in October.
If you're not sure which one to buy, see how much money you got and buy whichever one has the best deal, because you'll probably end up buying another one later on down the road.
Anycubic Photon. Now, here's the question I have. See, I don't have an Anycubic, so I cannot talk about Anycubic at all, because I've never experienced one. But doesn't Anycubic have a problem with G2 box?
What do you mean a problem?
Like I heard that a lot of people, the Anycubic, the Chi Tube, I couldn't remember if it was any. I know one of the resin printers out there won't has an issue with printing Chi Tube box slices.
I've had a lot of failed prints with my frozen. I've been using Cheetah Box, but I'm thinking that's mainly the resin and whatever setting I have picked for that resin. When I had the Elegoo Mars, I could dump anything in it. It just printed perfect. But when
I know. Elegoo.
When I got the mid-size, it's like, what am I doing? I'm having failure after failure after failure. It's totally different on the mid-size. And then on the big one, you had that trouble originally. You're like, why did I buy these effing things? I hate them. And then you had to eventually figure out how to tweak what.
Yeah, and then here's another thing. I'm having failures again working with Lychee. Lychee is just giving me failures like crazy. And it's sad because I can go into Chi Tube box and slice and go through the Chi Tube box and slice it up and just fine, and it prints beautifully. No issues. I do the same thing with Lychee, and I have issue after issue. I have failure after failure. And I've gotten to the point now I dumped Lychee. I paid $37 for the whole year for Lychee. I just finally said, you know what? I'm tired of having to fine tune this. And I bailed on Lychee, which is funny because I actually produced a video where I compared the two, and I need to do another rebuttal where it's like, look, I've had nothing but failure after failure after failure with it. So I've actually dumped out on Lychee.
Here's where I put the sticker. My cords aren't very long, but
that's really nice. I like that. It's a very elegant look.
And then when Anycubic, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
When Amazon starts selling the Anycubic wash and cure, once they get on Amazon where I can get it in a couple days, I'll buy it. All this mess over here, and I can replace a lot of that with the one wash station. I won't get rid of that stuff in case I need to use it for something, but I'll try to clean up the area.
I just don't think the wash and cure is worth it. I just don't think it is. Honestly, that's just my opinion, but I don't think the wash. Well, it's going to be worth it for the casual home hobbyist that doesn't have a lab. But in all honesty, look at me. I mean, I've got 3 Phenoms that I'm running for a business. I've got an Elegoo Saturn that's coming that I run. I got my Mars that I'm running for my business. And the issue at hand with that Anycubic is it takes a lot of alcohol to fill that thing. I mean, a lot. And then and it's going to go bad. You're going to have to replace that alcohol. So now you're giving yourself an expensive consumable that wasn't before. Before COVID, alcohol was dirt cheap, and you could fill that thing for like $20. No big deal. But it's
put mean green in it, put something else in it.
I know, but it's like I've already spent like $400 on a 30-liter ultrasonic cleaner that they made for car parts for
like Harbor Freight. Yeah, Harbor Freight. I have one of those. The red Harbor Freight.
No. I went on to an automotive. I paid like $400 for it. It's a 30-liter automotive ultrasonic cleaner. It was for car parts for doing that. And I didn't get it at Harbor Freight. If I'd known they had one at Harbor Freight, I probably wouldn't have spent $400 freaking because I bought everything at Harbor Freight.
They got the big wash station, which has a pump in it that recycles whatever liquid that's in it. It doesn't vibrate, but it does have a pump. So if you have whatever stripper in there, you can angle the wand to spray it. Like if you're cleaning something that's greasy and oily, you can have gas or something technically in there. That's what I would use and clean all the parts up.
I actually bought a big, huge ultrasonic cleaner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of the big, the vibrating ones, and it's huge, like it's massive. And I do a mixture of, I put a gallon of mean green in it, I put 1,000 milliliters of alcohol in it, and then I top it off with water, and I run it at 36 degrees, and it works great. But I'm not going to give up something that I've already spent, a buttload of money on to get this little washing thing that I'm still going to have to take a lid off. I'm still going to have to recycle the water.
Dwayne King, a friend of mine here in town, came by and he gave me an Elegoo Saturn sticker that he had. So I simply cut off the Saturn part and I put the Elegoo sticker on my Mars. That's how I got that.
But in all honesty, you can go on any Facebook marketplace and just like any record, you wouldn't believe how many people have vinyl cutters in your town that would do it for a couple bucks. Just have somebody make one up. You can do it in any font you want and just have them cut it up for you. I mean, I actually had a vinyl sticker made that said had Bill Murray on it, and it said WWBMD. What would Bill Murray do? I had that on the back of my car, and it only cost me like $6 to have cut for me. I use $2 for sports saving as STM when I slice the photon on any cubic. Frozen Sonic Mighty works for $2 for me. Okay. Slice with the photon slicer for my anycubic frozen.
I'm not familiar with photon slicer.
Works. It works fine here. Fine here with $2 for me. Okay. I know one of the printers, it really struggled with, and that's why Lychee came out, was to be able to take care of those. I couldn't remember if it was Anycubic or it's another brand. I forgot which one it was, but like it has trouble with G2 box. I just have not gone. I have been, ever since I got my Elegoo, I went Elegoo and PO Poly, and the only reason I went PO Poly is because I had this idea of doing lithophanes for money, and I can print a whole entire cube, one of those light boxes, one solid print. I could print 2 of them at once.
Yeah.
And it was economical for me to have the Phenoms.
Yeah, dumb. I don't have a direct drive on any of my printers, so I don't have an opinion. And I've never tried water washable resin yet. Oh, you're putting one on now? Okay. Go ahead.
I did the water washable, but then here's the thing. And I didn't think about it after I made my video, and some people commented on my video, and it really bothered me a lot. Like, it really, really bothered me. Because in my video,
Made you want to pull your hair out of that.
Well, what it was is like I actually show my process from start to finish, exactly how I 3D print and everything else. So I can have a reference video if people ask, how do you do that? Go watch this video.
I had one. Let me interrupt you for a minute. Before you finish, I had a comment I wasn't going to say about the video. I want to see what you say, what people said, before I tell you what I was thinking when I watched that video. Go ahead.
About washing my vats, because I would scrape all of my resin out of my vats, and then I would rinse them off in my wash station. And then they talked about, polluting the water and everything else, even though I have a septic system. And so it's not really a big deal for me because I have a septic system. But yeah, but then they made comments like, you're polluting the night, you're polluting this, you're polluting the waters and everything else. And it's like, and then it dawned on me, like, they make water washable resin. And they actually advertise a water washable resin. People just go take it to your kitchen sink and rinse it off. It's made for people like in apartments that can't. But then it dawned on me, like, if we're polluting groundwater with using in our kitchen sinks or our draining into a water supply.
My toilet with acid and Clorox bleach. People dump acid in their toilet, in their sinks. A little bit of resin isn't going to hurt shit when I dump acid in my toilet, et cetera, et cetera. That's how I feel on those comments from anybody.
Yeah, you pour Drano down the drain.
Yes, exactly.
It's made for Drano. And it's like, I actually deleted the comments because it really kind of pissed me off, because it really nagged me.
Yeah.
Because, like, I literally I spent money and I installed that I am not a person that is handy with tools and stuff like that. And that was my first like home project, install a utility sink in my lab. And I did a great job, and I was patting myself on the back. It made our job 3D printing so much easier. And then they put a comment like that, and it's just like,
the only negative I had in your whole video, which you didn't mention, that you left the water running full blast the whole time, wasting water when you could have trickled it or shut it off in between. You just left it running.
I'm in Ohio. I don't have to worry about droughts and saving water. We have a water reclaiming system.
Well, still, that's the only thing that I would say is just on the water, just letting it run. Even though you pay the bill, still. That's my.
Well, I mean, I get city water, but I have a septic system, that we drain out. But I do get city water that comes in. But we have lakes and everything else, and groundwater and everything else that we pull from our waters from, and it's all goes through a facility that has added fluoride and blah blah blah. I know my buddy worked at that place, and he told me a lot. And I even asked him about that, and he's like, "Dude, don't worry about it." He's like, "It's such trace amounts." He goes, "You wouldn't believe what people dump."
My brother lives in Prump, Nevada, and he tries to conserve water and everything. And he's got a motto: if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, push it down.
That was my dad's motto, because I guess when we growing up, we had the city water with the sewer, and they charge you like 3 times on sewer versus what he's like, so he would always, and he actually has a cistern system now with a septic, and he has to have it trucked in. And his philosophy at home is, that same philosophy. Like you'll go in there and that water will be just dirty brown. I'm like, what are you peeing? He goes, no, I just haven't flushed in like 2 days. He goes, I got my downstairs toilet for the brown and I got the upstairs toilet for the white, and I'll just flush every couple of days. I'm like, it stinks, man. It's nasty, Dad. It's germs. So, but yeah, and then don't forget, I lived out in Vegas too. So yeah, I know about the water conservation, but I'm in Ohio, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
I take long hot showers, and I'm grateful for it.
When I was in my early 20s, the dam had the spillways going at Hoover Dam. It was almost to the top of the dam. It's crazy, and now it's so low, it's unbelievable how low it is.
Yeah.
But then years ago, California took back a lot of their water to fill some lakes. So over a period of a year or two, I don't remember when this happened, they dropped it, a huge amount at that time, and that's what was the beginning to the end, and it just slowly keeps going down. And then they built that drain out there in the middle of the lake for an intake. I worked on that job for a couple months. I was on a barge, and they were towing out concrete trucks out in the middle of the lake, 6 trucks at a time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 3 weeks. That's a lot of concrete, because once they lowered this piece down into the ground, they had to pour all this concrete around in the lake to seal it. They pumped it down there, and once they got done pumping it down there, then they have a drill, and they're going through like you see overseas. They drill a giant tunnels with the bits, and they went through and connected it all up. And then eventually they had basically a big drain like in a bathtub for intake. So,
it's funny. I lived there for 3.5 years, never went to the Hoover Dam, but the day that I finally left Vegas, it was me and my wife. Well, at the time, girlfriend, because we hadn't gotten married yet. We went to go pick up my car and drive it back, my Mustang, and and I was like, you know what? Before I leave, I want to see the Hoover Dam. So on the way back, I actually swung through and we hit the Hoover Dam and the Grand Canyon and all that, and head out. So
I'm afraid of heights, and I've been over that new bridge many times. And I went down to Texas, and I just hate driving over that big bridge. It's way up in the middle of nowhere. I just get on it and as quick as I can to the other side. I do not like heights. I have went skydiving twice. That was fun, but I'm afraid of heights. I got a problem with heights.
It's not really heights. Like as a truck driver, and I would travel, my biggest fear was bridges. I'd always panic when I went over like a really tall bridge, because you're a gigantic billboard, you're a sail. I've been blown. I actually got blown over by wind. I'll have to send you the video of my dash cam of that.
Yeah,
but I actually got. Oh, I did show it to you. Yeah. I got blown over by wind. So going over bridges, man, especially ones really high up where it's got the wind going underneath and the top, man, it would scare me. I would be scared every time. And the worst bridge of them all, I would have to say, is the Mackinac Island Bridge in Upper Michigan, going from the main part of Michigan to the Upper Peninsula. There's a bridge that's called Mackinac Bridge, and it is so tall up. It's blown cars off of it. It's been known, like little Priuses, they recommend don't take them across the bridge, because you can, like a little like smart car would just get blown right off of it. Semis have been blown off of it, and that's just such a scary, scary bridge. And yeah, I avoided taking loads over that bridge, just, taking loads up to Upper Peninsula. I know they pay well because everything has to be trucked in up there, but I just avoided those loads altogether because I hated that bridge. That bridge is really, really scary.
Let's see. I got a picture here of it.
Oh, yeah.
There's Hoover Dam right here, and then here's that giant bridge. It's way up here. Yeah, anything over like 35-mile-an-hour gusts, trucks aren't allowed to cross it.
Yep.
But
I've been over that bridge many times in a semi.
There's people out there standing on it, looking over. Like, nope, I'm not walking out there. I do not like heights, and I don't like cliffs. But yeah, that's huge. And when you can see the water level there, how low it is from where it used to be, where it's all white. The water level used to be above that.
Yeah.
So
I used to, when I lived in Vegas, me and my co-driver that I lived with out there, we would rent boats out on Norris Lake and take a boat and go boating for the day. So we'd spend like $300 for the day and just take the boat, and they would come put it in the water for us. We go out and have a few drinks and, enjoy the water, do some tubing.
Yeah, I think I showed this earlier. You have the vinyl cutter. I don't know what font they use for the Elegoo. I'm not really sure. Just find something you like. You don't have to be different.
It doesn't have to be. You could just do something blocky or something stylish. You can do it in any font you want. That's the beauty of it.
Seen that one? Mississippi Bridge, never seen it.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
He hates train tracks.
Oh, you hate train tracks, Dwayne? Yeah. Train tracks. No, I mean, I never had to stop on train tracks. So I never did the tankers or anything like that. I would only have to stop when I did the hazmats. But yeah, mine was always bridges. I just bridges.
Yep, trains can't stop, so don't stop on the tracks. Don't try to beat the train because it's a good way to die.
I actually got a great story about that. I was in truck driving school when I was in truck driving school, and it was my first time ever taking the semi out on the road with a trailer. And the instructor had me coming around, and here was the set of tracks. Well, I was pulling up, and it was one of those really high tracks that came up and went over, and I was really nervous. So I went up, and I got to the track, and I was sitting there, and when I got to the top of the track, there was cars that were stopped at a light, and there was somebody there with an accident, and I was held up on the tracks, and all of a sudden I hear a train horn, and I freak because, first time ever being in the semi. All of a sudden I'm on tracks, I'm dead stop, and here's a train horn coming, and all of a sudden I hear ding, 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 ding. I just went right into the other. I was like, screw it. I went around the cop and everybody. I went around. I was like, the instructor's like, what are you doing? I'm like, there's a train coming. I'm like, I'm on the tracks. I'm getting out of the way. I ain't playing that.
Here's the link to that Chrome pin. I'll put it in chat right now. It's $8.65 on Amazon in the US. It's right here.
Let me see comments there. Let's see.
I'll put it in private chat so you can click on it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's it. That way in private chat, just click on it, and then later you can look at it.
Only 8 left in stock.
Yeah, it took me a few weeks to get it, if I remember correctly, when I ordered, like 2 or 3 weeks. And I have liquid chrome that I spray through my airbrush, but once I discovered this pen, Matthew Nicholas told me about this when he was doing his Ghostbuster car. This is a lot easier than me breaking out the airbrush and painting with chrome paint, unless it's a large area. If you want to do detailed work and small things, this is perfect. It comes out perfect. So, but don't clear coat over top of this, because if you do, it turns silver. Once you get that sheen like a mirror, don't try to put
clear coat. I'm not going to clear. I'll clear coat, and then I'll put this over top to clear coat.
I don't know if that'll work, but.
Oh, really? Okay.
Experiment.
So in other words, clear coat, but put tape around it, then do this last.
Probably, because if you clear coat over this, it'll dull and look like silver paint. You'll lose your sheen.
Well, you want to clear coat all your models, whether matte or semi gloss or gloss. But what
I did on Spawn is once I clear coated Spawn, then I went back over a bunch of his parts that were chromed to try to make them pop. I retouched.
Now, when you clear coated, did the spots that you went over with chrome, did you clear coat, or did you go over the clear coat, or did you?
Yes, I went back over it.
So I don't have to tape it off. I can just clear coat it, and then I can go over it with the pen.
Experiment with something before you do it with your finished print. You can say, "Well, fuck, Jerry, that didn't work," and then you just trash your model. So,
see, so it was funny. I bought that spastic kit, so it comes with the black, the clear coat, and the chrome. And I was trying to do Cara Dune's badge from The Mandalorian, and I butchered it because I went black, chrome, clear coat. I didn't know you had to go black, clear coat, chrome.
I didn't know that either. I have spastic chrome, but I didn't know they made a clear that is made to go over the
kit.
product. Okay.
It was one of those, they all buy together, and it was a chrome kit that they sell that has all 3 of them together.
Yeah, but definitely high gloss black and then chrome, and then he said clear and then chrome. So I've never.
And that black is black. Let me tell you what, that black is black. Like, I have not seen airbrush paint that black before. That coats like that. It is really, really black.
Yeah, they got that new paint in Japan it absorbs 99.6% of all light, and anything you paint, you can shine a flashlight on it and it won't reflect it. It absorbs that light from the flashlight. It's that black. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about it. I forget what it's called, but yeah, it's pretty killer.
So I'm gonna have to check that out. But thank you for that link, because I put that in my cart. So I'll get me one of those and have it shipped here.
Yeah, I used to be a local delivery driver. I wasn't driving tractor trailers, but big delivery trucks, produce. And then for a couple of years, I drove a big flatbed truck with a 5-speed with a split shift, and I towed a big forklift. And the reason I'd have a Class A or Class 1 is because of the weight of the forklift behind it. That's why I had that back in the day. But I've never driven a tractor trailer.
Yeah, I did it for 7.5 years, but I'm just about 3 weeks ago, I got taken out of the truck, and now I'm a safety manager. So I'm done driving, and this is what I wanted. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of videos lately on YouTube of different truck drivers and cars cutting people off. It's just crazy how people drive. It's unbelievable how people drive and cut people off and cause wrecks. It's just,
it's dangerous. It really is, and it's definitely it's not for the faint of heart. I did it for 7 years, and it did what I needed to do. After that, then it's so.
Anybody else like to drop in and hang out and chat? Well, you're very welcome to. Here's a link right here. So it's free, doesn't cost you anything, and everybody around the world will get to see what you look like and, talk about what you're working on or what you're going to be working on or what you'd like to work on. You're always welcome to drop in. Absolutely. Iron worker, that's a dangerous job if you're up on top of a big giant building somewhere walking beams, and that's crazy. But yeah.
That was some back-breaking work there, man. Those guys built America, and that is some hard work.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of. I remember seeing this guy one time take a water jug, and he's standing on this beam higher than hell, and he grabbed the jug, he's standing there holding up, getting a drink. I'm thinking, dude, and he wasn't tied off. He should have been, but yeah, crazy. But you get used to it. If some people don't have a fear of heights, and it's no big deal to them. It's kind of like you walk on a 2x4 on the floor and anybody can walk it. We'll take it up 10 feet in there and I'll walk that 2x4 or take it up 20 feet. And most people are real skittish and they can't walk it because they're afraid of the height. And some people have no fear and they can just walk it like it's nothing.
I'll tell you another one that is really crazy is underwater welders. Those guys are that's some crazy stuff, man. They see some things. One guy was telling me that he saw a catfish the size of a Buick when he was underwater welding.
Lake meat and giant catfish by the dam, but back in the day, so no way to know whether it's true or not true. But
they fished it out. They actually fished it out from the dam. It died, and they had to get it out of there, and they had to pull it. And it took a crane to get it out.
Yeah, I used to be a signal man for a couple of different cranes on jobs for short periods of time. And work around a lot of tower cranes.
I couldn't do tower cranes. That's because that thing just goes like this, and the
crawlers are worse than that because they got big giant tracks like my droid, and they drive around the job site, and they got their great big boom way up in the air, and they got to be very careful what they do. So,
the one thing of having that boom in the air, but it's the other when you're in the air. And
you're up there in the cab, way up high.
It's just doing this, and it's like, I couldn't stand when my truck did that.
They're bolted to the ground, and then they're bolted to the building. So typically, nothing ever happens. But I have seen a lot of instances.
You really trust bolts? I have broke bolts. I'm a fat guy. I have broke bolts.
Well, these are big giant anchor bolts, but yeah, I've seen a lot of cranes in Chicago on shows, different accidents and things go down. So different places.
Yeah. Or how about those guys that go up on the poles and change the lights? On top of like cell phone towers and stuff. The only way I would be able to do that job, and I could probably do it, is if you could parachute down from the top. But they don't. They're supposed to climb. They are required to climb back down. And why? You could parachute.
A tower crane, every so many stories on a tower will have a ramp that runs out to the crane, and then you take the stairs up from there. They go up like 15 or 20 flights. You have a small landing. You turn, you go up the next. But you don't have to take them all the way from the ground. When they first build them, you do until they get high enough where they can bolt to the building. They got a gangplank that they put out where you can walk up to it. But I had a couple tourists one time, had a guy had a bet with his partner. He goes, "Excuse me, I got a bet with my buddy here. Does he take an elevator to get up?" He said, "No, he doesn't take an elevator."
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
it's just that's to me, if I was in that crane, I would want to parachute down. If I was on one of those skyscraper cranes, I wouldn't want to climb down that. I'd just parachute down.
Yeah. You don't have enough room for your chute to open before you hit the ground and go splat is a problem. They're not high enough, usually.
People base jump off of buildings all the time.
So, well, if they're high enough, I guess. I'm thinking about a lot of the stuff here in Vegas.
Just pull a Mary Poppins. Get that umbrella out. You'll be fine. So what else are you working on? Is it all droids now?
You see this? Pop prints? This is what you do in a crane all day long. If you got to use a restroom, this is what you do. End of the day, you take them down and dispose of them.
A lot of times those cranes will have bathrooms in them. I know the ones that they use at the rail yards,
controls.
They actually have bathrooms in them.
They're not the ones here in town. Everybody has to use a water bottle or something.
Oh, I've used a lot of Gatorade bottles.
Or if it's lunchtime, they'll go down to the roof. You know, the first level they can. They might eat lunch and go to the restroom. But typically, crane operators, they break right in their cab. They're up there all day.
And then now I see the ones at the rail that put the containers on the boxes where I worked at. Those guys, they had a bathroom up in their crane, but he would never use it. He would just step off the crane and piss on the rails.
Yeah.
That's what he always did. You know, the craziest thing is a driver for night was on the side of the road and he had to pee really bad. So he pulled off on the side of the road and got out of his truck. And he was on the passenger side of his truck where, you know, away from the road where he could be seen. And he was sitting there urinating and a police officer came off onto the grass, onto the side and came around that side and caught him and got him for indecent exposure. And now he is a registered sex offender because he urinated on the side of his truck on the side of an interstate in the wrong state, which was Missouri.
Wow. That's
yeah.
crazy.
So if you got to pee, find a bathroom. It's
Yeah.
not worth the peeing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I pissed on every interstate in this country except in Maine, but yeah. It's just, I mean, it's just crazy.
You got to do. Let's move on and quit talking about that. But anyway.
Yeah.
So.
So with the droid, what kind of filament are you using for the tracks?
TPU 85A. It's from a company called Yoyi, YOYI 85A. It's off of Amazon, and I'm not getting Ninja Flex because this is a lot cheaper. So
but it still has that flexibility to be able to. It has a good route.
The tracks have the tracks have brass pins put in them, so technically you could probably use almost any filament, but you want them to be soft to help grab the floor when you're driving, where they don't just spin on the floor and they don't drive. So it's best to use TPU. Let me grab it. But when we do our next droid after this, we'll reprint this lower section exactly the same because this is the exact same setup for the next droid that we're going to be doing after this. But yeah, it's just got pins in it. Let's see.
Okay.
See if you can see the brass pins in there on the inside a little bit. You kind of see a brass pin. And they all print upright. When you print each track, they print upright in orientation on my bed. So when I first started printing them, I printed what, 5 of them on my hypercube, and they printed perfectly fine. So then I loaded up the bed with 55, which took many days to print that many. And since the hypercube, it's not a Cartesian where the bed goes back and forth, the bed just goes down on only the head moves on a hypercube. And they all printed fine except for 5. 5 failed. So then I put them on my FL Sun Delta printer and I reprinted the last 5, but I had no real issues. I did have my retraction settings weren't quite right, and I had a lot of stringing on these. So I just lined them up in a row. I got my propane torch that I keep out in the garage. I got it in here. It's got the blue cylinder, and I just ran that across them like that, and I burned off all the hairs that quick, and they came out perfect. So.
I used to use a heat gun. That's how I used to do it.
Yeah.
But I imagine what's the temperature you got to print with that? With TPU?
What was it? I'm thinking 235, I think 230, 235. But yeah,
you have to have the bed heated.
A heat gun will slowly heat up that torch, will instantly get rid of them. It takes time with a heat gun, and I don't want to get the part that hot, trying to get those little wisps to go away. You run a torch across it real quick, and they're instantly gone. It just burns them off instantaneously.
Now, do you have to have a heated bed for that, or can you run it without a heated bed?
Heated bed.
Okay. What temperature are you running on the heated bed?
70, I believe, on the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, 70.
Now, is that got to be an enclosed? Is that an enclosed filament, or is that you can have open?
You can have it open.
Okay.
With
that's where I got to the
real soft
with FDM.
I got a Titan style extruder on the FL Sun and on the Hypercube, and that way the filament can't back out and go crazy on you. I have a modified extruder on my other CR10s where the filament path going in and out of the extruder is really close together with a piece of Capricorn on one side, the metal sleeve on the other, but it still can back out. If it has any kind of obstruction at the nozzle, it'll back out like spaghetti real easy at the extruder. If you got a Titan or an closed extruder, it has nowhere to go. That won't happen. At least that hasn't happened to me, and it printed perfectly fine.
So is one of those mosaic palettes in your future, or are you all for that, or what?
I think they're a complete waste of money and time, and they don't work that well, and I don't need one. Just prime it and paint it. Or
that's the way I see it. Like, because no matter what, with FDM, unless you're printing at such fine little layer height, you're going to want to finish it anyways, because there's so much sanding. You want to get rid of the lines and everything else, and it's like, what's the point? Because you're going to print it. I guess for what we do with it, it'd be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it. But I imagine there's got to be some kind of use for it down the line. But if you're going to want something, it's not going to look as good as printed and painted.
If you just want to do a filament change with a solid color, you can just change filament and change colors. But if you want to print the eyes and every little part something different, like a painted model, you would need a palette to do something like that, or just use a rainbow. For something like this, just use a rainbow.
Yeah, like I can see that if like you said, rainbow, that gives it its own artistic taste, where you don't want to paint it because it's got that rainbow color to it. But I just don't see for making models for what we do and what we try to do. I don't see a use for it, because you're going to want to finish it anyways, because you want to get rid of the lines.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't know how to paint, and they don't want to learn how to paint, and it's a lot simpler. They'll spend the extra money, they'll get the palette, they'll put multiple colors in it, and they can print some really cool stuff, and then they're happy with their outcome. They're happy with it. So
yeah, I can see doing like the cartoon characters, but if you're painting anything professional that you're wanting to sell, or at least to have as a bragging right, you're going to want variations, you're going to want shadowing and depth and all that in it. Cartoon characters, the only thing that's good for a solid color. So, but I've done a lot of cartoon characters though.
Yeah,
I have got a lot of cartoon characters I've done. I like doing cartoon characters. They're easy to paint. So, and then I've also gotten to the point where I start doing bronzing. I found this Rust-Oleum copper rose, and it just does this beautiful statuesque bronze look to it. And I've been making busts of like people who have passed away. Like I've got this one here, Princess Leia, it was a simple spray, on, and it looks beautiful. Like it just
painting a model like that in detail, make it look real, takes so much time and talent. It's crazy, but when you bronze it, wham bam, you're done. It looks great. Yeah, Stan Lee.
And it still looks amazing. This is the Hex 3D Stan Lee tribute. And it just looks amazing. I bought a gold just like this too, that I'm going to do something in gold. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to do something in gold. I haven't
got another man popping in. Hey Jason, how you doing?
What's up, Jason?
Hey, Chewy.
How's everything?
What's up?
That killed me when I fried this yesterday. Oh, God. I had smoke and fire. It's like, oh, no. And now I got to wait till Tuesday to get a couple more. Wow. And the ones that you had linked, I can't get those till next Saturday. So I'd already ordered 2 more of these. I'm just going to splice them together with 1 battery, and I'll run 2 of them. So
okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, that'll work.
I like the diagram you put out. That's a nice diagram.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know Tim was a little nervous, I guess, or maybe not nervous, but hesitant on, just a little bit. So I figured, it's already done. I might as well just pop it on there for you guys and at least to see what I did, whatever, because we all have, you know, slightly different. So whatever we could find and could come in. So
on the 2 wires that burned off, which they're no longer here, I had those split going to both motors. I took both motors, I wired them directly to those 2 wires, and then I spliced in my T60 connector for the battery, and it was just too much power. Like I say, it was spinning around in circles on the floor. It's like, looks pretty cool, but I didn't think the filament, I didn't think something was going to happen. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wow, it ain't spinning both directions, only going one way now. And then here came smoke and then flames. And it's like, I can grab the camera and try to take a picture, or I can hurry up and unplug the battery and save it. So I unplugged the battery.
Decisions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what caused that?
Too much power. This little speed controller couldn't handle the amount of voltage I was putting through it on both motors.
So you
it's
have
a
to put a
30 amp.
resistor on
It
it.
says it's a 30 amp speed controller, and it's, you know, it's really, really tiny. So.
Well, you know, you shouldn't have been pulling anywhere near 30 amps, even off both motors. It should be well under 20.
I don't know.
Are you sure you didn't get the speed control versus the voltage side swapped?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because I took the 2 outside leads and it was a female plug. I think it was female. And I said, okay, that must be power going in. And the 2 inside leads, I just assumed was for the battery, or the 2 outside leads for the battery. The 2 insides were going to the.
So typically a battery will have, well, no, this one doesn't have a connector on it. The battery will have the female connector so that there's no bare lead connector sticking out. And then whatever component that you have to attach, it should be the opposite of that. You know, not always, things aren't always made properly. Sometimes they're just clipped, but.
Okay, on this other one here that I haven't fried.
Okay.
These 2 outside wires, I'm assuming, are battery.
So what are the other wires you've got there?
I got an on and off switch. And then I've got another plug, which is female.
Oh, okay. I know why you burned it up. No, you connected it right. I know why it burned up. Okay. Well, you didn't. Did you connect it to the receiver and start to drive it, or was it just as soon as you plugged it in, it started to smoke?
Once I started to drive it. I put the bind pin in the receiver. I turned on the controller. I got it to bind. I didn't take out that bind pin. I just started playing with the controls, running around in circles.
Okay.
I went one way and I went the other way it went. I tried to drive forward, but since I don't have it configured for tank mode, it wouldn't drive forward. And then one direction quit working, and then smoke and fire.
Probably because since that's a single channel, or is it? Wait, is it dual channel?
I believe it's what I needed to get, but
so you've got power dual channel. Oh yeah, no, you've got. Oh no, that looks like dual channel.
It's got a brake on it, and I think that's just a power switch.
Is the link to that one? Did you post that on something?
Yeah, I posted that on the group. I'd rather be 3D printing.
I'm gonna grab that.
I explain what happened. I post what parts I had. And then when I went and seen ones you bought where it looked like it had a left and a right, an extra plug on it, it's like, well, I should have bought these, but I can't get them till next Saturday, and I'd already ordered some.
Looks like it's only got one controller, because you got a power switch, you got a brake, and then you've only got the one control. So I think you need the dual controller.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking that if that's right, then when you went to drive it and you were flipping the polarities around in that speed controller to reverse the motors, that it was just freaking it out, and you were probably shorting it together as you were turning it. It was trying to drive both directions. That might have been it. But that one, Jerry, if it is a single, then
I'm pulling up the Amazon link.
Yeah, keep that for the dome. Because if it was dual, you should have had an extra signal wire. So like this one, where it's where's the camera? So you've got the power here. This is signal and power to the second channel, and this single yellow wire goes to channel 1. So it's getting power into here from the receiver, and this gives you 2 signal wires for channel 1, channel 2, and that's left and right motor, and then the opposite end has the 2 left and right motors.
Okay,
But
I don't have those. I don't have those
Oh,
extra
okay.
left and right motor, and I don't have the yellow plug.
Okay, then that's probably a single channel, but keep it. You'll need it for the dome.
Okay, let me pull up a link here real quick. So I'm gonna have to order them today, and if I order them today, I probably won't get them till next Friday or Saturday. So I won't have.
Yeah.
I'll be the one. I'll be behind like the tripod. But yeah, here's what I got right here. I mean, I was sure I had it right, but there's the one that I bought.
Now we're gonna watch his credit card balance go up.
2-way switch. 2-way. See, it's weird. It says 2-way unless it means with a brake or without a brake.
I'm not sure. I don't see a brake switch on it. The actual circuit board, I don't see a little tiny switch on the end of it like some of them.
Which is weird anyway. I mean, the brushed motors slow down enough on their own, but maybe not enough if you're going fast.
And I assume that's an on and off switch. I can't imagine that's the brake switch.
2-way brush, bidirectional current control brush CSC, easy to install, durable. Yeah, the thing that's throwing me on that is, like, I only see one signal wire, so I'm not sure how it's controlling both off one channel.
Well, that's why I cut it. And then I asked Mr. Badelli when I dropped in Drinks and Droids yesterday, and he thought I was probably just putting too much current through it. And I said, okay, if I put one on each motor and wire it together, they thought that would work. But what's going to happen is if it don't, then I pry another one and then I'm stuck again.
Yeah.
So
the link to the one I got.
Nothing was ever put out in our paperwork at this time. Remember, Sam said, wait, that's coming. And we all got in a hurry and started buying stuff before they actually released, here's what you should buy, like another droid. So,
yeah. Well, I asked Sam if there was going to be more information on this, and he said, honestly, no, mate. So I was like, all right, I'll just do it myself. So I did. Rather than sit around and wait until, and the thing is, it's not so different from some of Michael Badley's other droids, and the principles are the same. So see if I can. I'll throw this into the chat for you, Jerry. This is the one. I don't know if they've got it. Oh wow, that's a long.
Okay, I think here's what you're talking about right here.
Can't do that.
Is this it right here?
Let's take a look.
I'm pretty sure this is the one that you shared. I got this off. I'd rather be 3D printing your link.
Okay, yes, that's the one.
And see, right now it says the $38.99, which is fine. One left in stock, and I won't get it till Saturday.
Whoa. Well, they jacked the price up for one left in stock.
Because I think yesterday there were 6 left in stock.
Because I can double check, but I'm pretty sure.
And that's the only one. Is there an alternative one on there that's exactly the same I could get before then?
I spent so much time looking that when I found that one, I just decided to take a chance on it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I look at too many of the same things at once, it's like when I bought my house. You look at so many, your brain gets confused on what you looked at and how much what was what. And you're like, okay, I'll take that one. I like the garage turned sideways in front of the house, and you get the extra property, and that's how I bought my house.
Yeah. That's usually how we end up on a lot of things.
I like the garage.
But yeah, that speed controller is 5 amps, but I'm all right. I'm not an electrical engineer, but I can do math. I do math, and I don't see it pulling more than 5 amps even out of those 2 motors, even with a Lipo battery. So it's in it. In fact, it works so well that I'm having to remake the dome because we had an unfortunate road accident yesterday zipping around in the back.
You say the Lazy Susan came apart on you, right?
Oh, it came up in the air. It flipped around. The dome went off.
Oh wow!
The magnets held the Lazy Susan to the dome. The dome ripped apart, or the Lazy Susan split, and off they went separately.
What'd you hit?
Just the deviations in the ground, like a slope. So it just launched up, but off of one side. And
wow.
Yeah, it was fun until it wasn't. So, yeah, I shouldn't have been. It's my fault. I shouldn't have been chasing that dog, but
It shouldn't have came apart.
it shouldn't have come apart either, right? It's 1% the design. It's 99% my fault.
Hey, if you can't chase your dog with it, why make it?
Well, I don't have a dog, but I chase other dogs, and that's more fun. It's more fun for me when they're not mine. Other people's kids, chase them around. It's great.
That's why I'm not allowed to own drones anymore.
Oh no. Yeah, for a second, I thought you were going to say that's why you're not allowed to run parks anymore.
Got my second shot yesterday. My arm was sore, but I don't have any symptoms.
That was funnier, but that was...
Oh my gosh. But I am experimenting, Jerry, with different domes. Badley said that you can take any Mark III dome and scale it down. So I did this R7 dome. I still got to do the greebles and the lens and stuff for it and see how it's going to come out. I'm not 100% sold on this one. I've got.
Are those layer lines in it? I'm seeing every quarter of an inch or so.
This? Oh no. This?
Oh, it's the way it's made. Okay.
It's in the design. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This printed. I just did it fast, so it's not great. But
what's layer height on that?
0.3.
Yeah, I do 0.20 on anything like that.
So I just did it. I just wanted to print it out and see it. Because a lot of times, I like everything I see on the internet until I'm holding it. So yeah. But that's that. Now I'm gonna try or I pulled down his R9 dome that he's got on Fusion and pulled it apart into STLs, and I'm gonna print that one out and see. I kind of like that one, but it's got 100 pieces to it though. It's got a lot of hooks and whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm fixing to buy these right now with shipping. Let's see, there's no shipping. Got to pay tax. $42.26. I won't get them till Saturday. So,
but that did say Friday. 4 pieces though, right? So it's a pack of 4, right?
All the extra parts.
It's a 4-pack, so not too bad. About what, $10 a piece plus tax. So.
Put on a credit card because I can't afford it otherwise. Let's see. Yeah, Saturday, May 1st is when it's going to be delivered. So. All righty, I just got to click paste order, and I'm sitting here looking at it, thinking, do I want to click on that or not? Yeah, it's just that when Friday rolls around, I'm not going to have nothing to show. So
yeah,
sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. And mine didn't show up until like 15 or 20 minutes before we started on Friday. It took a little while for it to come. Most of them are that way. At least the ones that I can find.
How you doing, Llama?
Hello.
He's been building a CNC on his channel. He's been going live every few days working on the CNC. If you'd like to hop in, Llama, you're very welcome to hop in and say hey.
Once when you get those droids done, what you should do is take them down to Fremont Street Experience and just drive them around. And when people offer you money, just sell them.
Oh.
Yeah, on these droids that we're building through Mr. Badelli, you can't make them for profit. It's only to make for yourself because there are a lot of them are replicas of things that are in Star Wars movies. You can only do charity work and stuff like that. So you can't build them for profit or you'll get hung by Disney will hang you.
I would be afraid to take it down to Fremont, especially when things get back to normal. Because
somebody would kick it. Somebody would run up and kick it.
Oh, absolutely. And run off. I can barely walk through there, much less try to drive something that took me a year to build. No.
Yeah, I don't know how people are in other parts of the country, but the people in Las Vegas, somebody would kick it, break it, steal it. That's just how people
stab
are.
It and check it for a wallet. I mean, yeah.
You got a bruise.
Vegas.
You have a bruise on your right eye?
Huh?
You have a bruise on your right eye?
This?
Yeah.
That's a freckle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. Hey, Jerry, did you see the other day somebody drove a car up to the pedestrian crosswalk over the strip?
No.
Up on the pedestrian crosswalk. How they got? Don't you have to take an escalator?
Which
up,
crosswalk? There's a lot of crosswalks.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Anyone,
crosswalks.
pick one. It's one that crosses the strip. Any one of the pedestrian crosswalks.
Well, typically they go up and turn. I haven't walked on one. They go up and turn. They have a landing, and then they go up again.
I don't understand how they did it. I'm trying to figure it out from the pictures. I didn't know if you had saw something about it because clearly
I haven't seen it. I'm not sure.
There's too many magicians in that town.
So.
True. Out of work right now, but
they done it for a
publicity
stunt. They would have lifted it up there with a small crane, but
maybe. If it was Chris Angel, he mind freaked me with that one because I did not see how somebody got a car up there.
Yeah, there's a trick to everything, but
that person figured it out.
All righty, I just put on my credit card and ordered it. They won't be here till Saturday. So
yeah, well, at least it. I can tell you it works. At least you know it'll work. Yeah.
When I bought two, I had it in my mind. I had watched a bunch of videos on YouTube regarding other RC things that people had built, and I was going to put one on each track. And you're like, no, it should work fine with one. And I said, you know what? Maybe it will. So I tried it, and it didn't. And I should have took my own advice. That's why I had two. I was going to put one on each side, and then you realized you might need one for the dome. I said, well, let me go ahead and split them, and I'll see if that works. And then, and I don't want to.
I thought the one that. Yeah, and I thought the one that you had, like quick looking at the picture that you put, and I saw those two leads, and I thought you got the a dual output, a dual channel output. I didn't realize it was missing the other signal wire.
So based on that drawing you put up on the group, I'd rather be 3D printing. That's with these the two ones I just ordered. Then.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have power switches on both of them?
No, I ran one power switch from the battery. So the
that's right. You have it in the diagram. I just have to go look at it. That's right.
Yeah, I put it and I screwed that up because I was holding this and spun it around, and I meant to put it in the back, but I ended up putting it there in the front. Right.
Okay.
I can't reach it there. So that turns it on and off, but you can't really see it. So I'm okay with it.
It's really good.
Thanks. It looked better before it flipped over. It's heavy, though. I was surprised that it came out so heavy.
Yeah. Those motors and all that plastic down there. Yeah, and TP and everything.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the ones you guys do with the little arms and moving around.
Oh, I know. I want that one.
Yeah.
But Jerry, he said it uses the same skirt.
The whole bottom half is the same.
And drive. Yeah, except for the body. The body will have that cutaway for the the seat and the cup holder.
So you can print the head, you could print the body, I guess. Unless the body has cutouts in it. The new body might have cutouts for the arms.
Well, he said it's the exact same one from the mini droids.
Yes.
He didn't say anything about it being different. So
there's gonna be a pivot point up there where the arm goes. And I don't think the mini droid has a spot for that. Oh, yeah.
Well, he may have it built into the arm. There is a hole for the wire.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, that's where the legs came down. He'll just have arms there for the legs. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really nothing to print one of those. I'm just gonna have one ready. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm surprised you haven't already started it, but.
Oh well, yeah. We just got home a little bit ago, but I'm playing around with experimenting on because I like this droid. I'm just not 100% sold on the dome that is in the original design, and so I was looking through his other Mark III domes, and I came across that R9, which he doesn't have really finalized yet. So I'm going to try it out.
I'm trying to figure out my paint colors here. I put a chrome pin on the top. I done these with a chrome pin, and I don't like this red with the red pin. It looks terrible. So I'm going to do something different. I'm probably going to have to tape it off and actually paint it, different parts of it. But I got the eye put in. I printed that in resin. I stained it. I didn't like the way it came out when I put a light behind it. So I just went in and painted it black. I sanded it real smooth so it has a nice finish on its resin. And then I had to reprint these two little round doohickeys in clear resin because I had them in a PLA and obviously a light won't shine through them.
Yeah.
So rather than clear,
I did those in red, translucent green, and
dude, those are really good. Just use resin dye.
Yeah.
Be a lot easier.
Well, what I did was I took the translucent resin in red and printed it, and then I took I swapped the vat, did blue, and then took the blue and the red from what was left in each of the vat, put it into one, and then waited to see what that would come out. I thought maybe it would come out kind of purple. It actually came out like who makes it? That smoke gray. Who makes that resin?
That's ZYLTECH.
ZYLTECH. It came out just like smoky gray. Yeah.
This one I want to be a white light because that would be the projector right here. So I left that clear. And anything here, I can just put a colored light behind it for whatever color I want it to be. And the Adafruit or whatever those little round things are, I'm not sure how those work.
Which things?
The Adafruit, Neopixels, little tiny round. We got another man popping in. We got Zach popping in. Oh. Hey, Zach, how you doing, buddy?
What's up?
Hey.
How are you?
Pretty good. Hanging out with one of my kids.
Yeah, man.
I see the resemblance.
Yeah. So how's your printers coming along? You doing any work on your printers today?
Yeah, hold on. I'll show you. I don't think you've seen this little project I've got here. So about a month and a half, maybe closer to 2 now, I picked up a ZYLTECH A10 off of Facebook for $70. Guy said it had a bad thermistor in it, and I ended up replacing a lot of stuff on it. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't remember if the thermistor was even bad. So it's dual Z extended Z IDEX direct drive ZYLTECH A10.
Nice.
I mean, the only thing that would tell you that it's a ZYLTECH A10 is I still have the original electronics box that I stuck SKR 1.4 turbo with the 3-motor expansion board that plugs into EXP 1 and 2. So yeah, this is what I've been working on. I get really great prints out of it too. I'll show you what. It's something I made for my wife. I've not had a lot of time to mess with it lately.
Oh, nice.
Printed flat and then heated and pulled sideways.
Is that the one from Hex 3D?
I'm not sure. I found it on Thingiverse.
Oh, okay.
I printed that a couple weeks ago. I don't remember who had it. But so yeah.
How's your string printer coming along?
Oh, it's good. It's reliable. I haven't hardly done anything to it but print with it.
What was the build volume on that?
Oh, it's small. It's smaller than this. It's like 200 by 200 by 200.
Okay.
The funny thing is that that project started out because I wanted to make a small part printer that was rigid and I could run fast. And had I'd known that the Voron V0 was a thing, I probably would have built one of those instead of designing something from scratch. But then I wouldn't have the string drive. You know Shane, right?
Yeah.
He's built his version of the string drive. It's over here off camera, so I'm pointing. And he's got it up and running now. So there's 2 of them in existence.
Okay.
It's doing good. He ran into a lot of weird little issues doing the build. Because basically I just sent him the SolidWorks file, and he's like, I can build it from this, and kind of like little things that are in my head that I didn't realize that weren't in his head too when he was building it. So, but yeah.
I think it was Sam Prentice was talking about a company the other day that is making an IDEX out of an Ender 3, modding it. I'm thinking Ender 3, the build volume is so tiny, you don't have room for both heads unless you're doing chess pieces. I mean, you don't have much room, so you need a bigger build volume for most IDEX printers.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I did here was this is like 400 millimeters of travel. I had to flip some of the bolts around to get everything to clear, but I can have basically full bed coverage on each head. I can't do mirror mode or duplication mode. I mean, which, that's not much interest to me anyway because I've got 4 printers now. But really, once you extend this out, as you see, there's plenty of room on either side. The kit I think he's talking about is some guy over in England who sells a kit that's like $300, but it comes with everything you need. Like it's got the extra extruder, it's even got the spool mount, or the pieces to mount the second head for $300. At that point, I think you're better off just getting like one of the, what is it, an Artist D?
Yeah.
I think you would come out cheaper doing that. But then Ryan Thorpe pointed out the other day that BQ has a Ender 3 IDEX kit. It's kind of a mystery meat thing. There's not a lot of data out there on it. But
I'm not sure what the Artist D is currently selling for, but I've got a friend here in town, Walter Casidio, and he's selling his Artist D, I think, for around $450. He's got 3 or 4 different printers he's selling, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
He got it not in the mail not too long ago. Hello, Mark. How you doing? Altered Proxy, Blasted Supreme. How's it going? Akuma Mods, Matt. Hello. Anybody like to drop in? There's a link in the description. You're more than welcome to drop in and hang out. Oh, what I was going to say, Jason, about those little Neopixels, those little round things. How do those work exactly? Have you already tried them?
Oh yeah, they work. So you'll first have to load your Arduino with the script for the sketch for the lights, the flashing lights. That's really easy to do, but you just wire them in. It's in that drawing that I sent you guys.
Is it a single light, one color, or does it do multiple colors on the one?
No, it's RGB. So what you've got is you got a positive and a negative. You daisy chain the two, and you've got one signal lead or data line that'll run from the Arduino over to the to those 2 fluoras, and it has a little directional arrows to show you which way to daisy chain them. But once you connect those 2, then they'll just flash. They'll cycle through random colors. Is the way he's got the sketch set up for it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, somebody was talking about on Amazon, they're like 4 for $10, and somebody had made a comment that you can normally buy them in bulk really cheap. I don't know from where, AliExpress or somebody probably, but
you can do that on Amazon. They come in sheets.
This is WS something. These are basically the same as Neopixels.
Okay.
Buy a whole roll of them.
Yeah. I mean, Neopixels just an LED. That's all it is, really. Yeah. But that one you can get. Yeah, I think they're 4 for $10 on Amazon, and you can get a sheet of them. I think with like 40 or 50 a sheet for a lot less cost per unit if you look around. But I don't know how many you really need. So.
Yeah, I did the whole knockoff not Neopixel. What is it?
Hey, oh no! Look who we got here. He needs no introduction. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. He is here right now. Hey, how you doing?
You're very excited this evening. What's going on?
Well, I got my shot yesterday, and I've got a sore arm and no side effects, so I'm happy.
Good God. When did you get a shot up the arse? Good God, man. You're excited, dude.
Here we go. We got music for that. There we go. What are you up to?
Ah, man. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, things are good. It's been one of those days. I've been trying to sort of build droids and ship them out to people that, who are deserving of them. And then I ended up working on the container for my printers. So I've just been wiring that up, doing the lighting. And then I heard some information about IDEX and Ender 3s and all that kind of stuff, which is the kit that I've just got, of course. So, I think
it's a great concept. It's just that build volume is so small to have 2 heads right there. You can't really, it seems to me like you don't have much room to do anything.
Totally, which is why I've gone for the extra build volume on that. So it's going to do 400. So it'd be
Okay.
400, 250, I think it ends up being. But
Okay.
I'm only doing it because I can. It's not because I need another printer, because I've got tons of them, right? So, hey guys, hope you well. So yeah, I mean, the rat rig in the background here, I'm just doing the V-Core 3 mod for that. So that's a Core XY with a kinetic bed, and that moves around and does all kinds of crazy stuff. Then I've got another one of those turning up, the full V-Core 3 with the bigger extrusion. And again, I've just got printers. It kind of feels like a little bit like a printer graveyard around here at the moment. You know, it's kind of there's stuff here, and it's like I don't come in this room very often, and I'm like, oh, it's really eerie in here right now.
Printers equal content, you know, and equals videos and content. That's the whole purpose behind getting more and more and more printers nowadays. That's right.
But obviously, you know, as we've discussed previously, you know, I think I'm at the cap now of where I need to be, and I'm certainly not. I bought a couple of Ender 2s. Again, there's no reason for it. I just did. It's just one of those things. But they're kind of cool.
Behind this, why did I buy a wore out G-Tech A10 off of Facebook? Why not? Why did I make it ADX? Why not?
Exactly. So these little Enders, these little old Ender 2s, they're new, but I didn't have one. So I was like, yeah, let's get a couple of those, see if we can upgrade them, play around with them, see what happens, you know, see if I can get a really awesome print out of it. You know, even if I get one track out of it for a TPU print, brilliant, you know, great. But, you know, you never know. It's always good I think it's good to have a backup printer or 10 should anything go wrong.
Yeah, I wasn't taping it, but I had a fire yesterday. I had smoke and fire and flames, and I wanted to get out my camera. It's like, I don't have time. I need to unplug that battery before I lose my battery. So I chose to hurry up and unplug it. But yeah, I smoked that little speed controller. So I ordered 2 more, which will be here Tuesday. And then after just talking to Jason, the ones here he recommending, I can't get those till Saturday. So I ordered those 4, and they won't be here till Saturday. So
I see. Well, I had a smoke story myself. In fact, I nuked the it was a little one of the baby R2s that we were building, and I built that for somebody, and I was just cracking on with it, and some leads turned up from Amazon, and I plugged them in. But what I didn't realize is actually the positive and negative were inverted on the new plugs. So of course I just, you know, plugged them in thinking it was all right, and I'm thinking, that's not right. Then all of a sudden the receiver started smoking, and all the cables started to melt, and it literally was like you know, it was crazy. So literally just chucked it out the door before anything else happened. And of course, you know, when you guys are dealing with these Lipo batteries, or if you're dealing with relatively not high volumes, certainly ampage and stuff, you know, these things will go up in flames very, very quickly if you miswire them. So you've got to be super careful.
Yeah, I've done that before.
well, when I bought
it happened in Star Wars.
I bought 2 speed controllers, and I watched a bunch of videos on RC stuff on YouTube, and I had it in my mind how I was going to wire them. And unfortunately, I allowed the person next to me and his idea, which was with different speed controllers. Yeah, Jason. And anyway, after his advice, I'm like, yeah, that'll probably work. And I tried it, and then it smoked and fired. Like, damn, we got a video coming Friday, and I'm not going to get them till Tuesday, and I want to get this thing working. But I knew better. I watched some videos on how I should have probably done it, and I chose to anyway, I just did it wrong. So,
well, it's a learning curve, you know, and that's, you know, that's just kind of the way it goes. When you get on to, I don't know if I've got one here, you know, some of the speed controllers I've got here are like $400, $500 by Robotech, and they do have built-in, you know, fuses, and if you miswire it or something like that, you know, generally it's going to be okay. But you do have to be really careful. What you don't want to be doing is smoking up, you know, a $200 speed controller just because you made a mistake. So, you know, get that multimeter out, check where you're at with it, you know. But it can happen to anybody, and you know, it's famous last words, I think, most of this sort of stuff.
Well, the wiring on my speed controllers, even though they're 30 amp, it's really tiny wiring. I'm not sure what the gauge is. And then the battery, obviously, the wiring in it is very heavy duty. And then I took a XT60 connector, and I soldered it into my speed controller, which worked, but it's like this wire is, I don't know if it's 18 or 22 gauge, but it's really tiny wire compared to what's already on the battery. So,
yeah, I mean, as I say, it will only pull what it needs to pull. And generally, what we found, certainly in the holiday lighting stuff that I'm involved with as well, you know, a lot of that stuff is, well, we sell at 22 gauge cable, But actually, when it comes out of China, it's not. It's a lot less. And we've had a lot of problems with, various manufacturers making this stuff, shipping it into the US and to the UK, more so in the US. And, these are cheap. It's trying to shave a few bucks off something. That's it's buying a quality item versus buying something cheap. And I've noticed in the comments here, someone's talking about buying a Lipo bag to store. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But the problem is when you've got it all out on the table and you're miswiring something, and it goes up in front of you, a bag's not going to help you.
When I used to have all my RC stuff, I kept everything in Lipo bags, and I wasn't using it. And then I kept them in an ammo box, a military ammo box, metal box, in a room by itself on a concrete floor. And but I don't have that stuff at the moment. I don't currently have a Lipo bag to put my batteries in, but I should get one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you remember the balance boards, the hoverboards that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
they had Lipo batteries inside of them, and the worst thing about that, of course, is that you'd cruise down the street, you'd hit a curb, and what would happen to the internal batteries is they would get damaged, and of course, then it runs out of battery. You then plug it in and charge it, and that's at that point when those batteries were exploding, is when they were on charge. So we had hundreds of those sent through to my recycling facility to be recycled and to be decommissioned, and But the same goes for mobile phones. We all run around with these things in our pockets. If you pierce it with a knife, it's going to cause a fire. So you just got to be super, super careful and responsible, I think, for what you're working on.
Do things ever come to your recycling yard that you don't want to crush and destroy? You want to keep it because you like it?
Oh, of course, yeah, 100%. But again, part of the waste and recycling within the UK is, first and foremost, can it be reused? Can it be recycled? And there's a whole function of things that you perhaps could do, but it very much depends on the client. So if it's data bearing, so if it's hard drive, or if it's even printers have miniature hard drives and RAM and things like that in it. If it's there to be destroyed, it's got to go through a process and go through a machine and be shredded into tiny little bits, and then it goes back into industry again. But like I say, even the work with the batteries that we do, all of our batteries go into drums. They're filled with sand. There's fire detection and bits and pieces like that, because any battery, even if it's flat, the chemical reaction inside of that can force that to explode.
Okay.
So watch out, kids.
Yeah, Red Light. If you're still watching Red Light, he's a recycler here in the U.S. I'm not sure if he's watching. He does a lot of scrapping on different types of electronics and computer parts.
So I once had a Lipo. It was like a 3S 2,000 mile Lipo, start to swell, and this was back when I was building vapes, and the guy who I made it for, I got him a new battery, and we were hanging out outside, just gravel pitting nearby. Hey, you got some jumper cables? You want to see what happens when this thing's shorted out and it goes up? He's like, yeah. So I cut the leads off and hooked up the jumper cables to it and backed way the hell away and shorted it out and watched it go up and smoke. It didn't really get violent. It just smoked out, but the amount of smoke that came out of that little tiny battery is just crazy.
And I'm sure that's toxic to breathe it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the other thing to consider is obviously when those batteries are inside of something, usually it's plastic. And of course, I won't go onto a big rant about how to recycle and stuff, but what we had been doing is certainly worldwide, we've been trying to put fire retardant chemicals inside of things like CRT monitors and electronics that we're using. Those are carcinogenic, so they're actually hazardous plastics now. So you're basically trying to set fire to something that's going to be hazardous if the battery goes up. So it's totally counterintuitive, and certainly in the UK right now and throughout Europe, we've got big problems with plastic recycling because it can't be recycled because we're not allowed to use that type of that type of fire retardant plastic anymore. So and plastic's everywhere. It's in our water. It's in the sea. I'm not going to be start tree hugging or anything like that or preaching to you guys about it, but it is what it is, and. This is coming from a guy that's got like 15 printers in his garage right now, printing out plastic, right? So, it's all good. It's all good.
What was the line from Ready Player One? We when people stop trying to fix the problems, just try to outlive them.
Absolutely. Now, Jason, I did see as well that you have one of these domes that you're printing at the moment. Is that right?
That's good.
Well, I've got that again. Yours is bigger than mine.
Giggity.
Giggity, giggity. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and
I've got the giant ALT here as well, which is
Oh wow.
Wow, that is impressive.
nice.
another good dome. You know,
I
that's
want that R2 unit right there, man. I really want it. What's your address?
oh wow. Whoa. It's all kicking off. It's all kicking off.
So now I'm trying to, well, I'm going to see how it turns out, but I'm going to print an R9 dome
Okay.
and see. I kind of like the look of it, so I want to see how it looks on the scramble.
Yeah, I did. Going back to, we had some Apple EarPods come through the other day, and we take the batteries out of them, and they go through a process. And we've got a lot of young guys that work for us, and they don't quite understand that, you know, people just don't want stuff to be resold. You know, it's your prerogative. If you own something, if you own a mobile phone and you're conscious about data on that particular device, maybe you want to send it somewhere where it's actually going to get crushed. So they don't quite understand that the concept of that is a little bit alien to them. And there's a lot of tears when, you know, new PlayStations or, you know, stuff that costs a lot of money, 10 gigabyte hard drives that, you know, we were recycling the last couple of days, you know, stuff that's a few $100s. It's, you know, it can be quite heart wrenching for certain people, but I've been doing this a long time now. So, you know, easy come, easy go is the way I look at it. That killed it. Yeah.
Talk. Somebody talk.
So
Yeah.
the question I have is, I mean, with electronics, with doing recycling, do you see like 3D printers come across?
Very occasionally, we actually work with Duet, and I was so excited when they emailed in, and I reached out to him, and one of my sales girls was involved with it, and it came through to my email, and I was like, oh, amazing! So I reached out and said, hey, you know, I do this on YouTube and 3D printing. It's absolutely phenomenal, and your boards are great, and blah blah blah. And he goes, yeah, cool. Let me know what you're working on, and we'll send you a board. So he sent me a board. And this is going to be for the Rat Rig VCore 3. So that arrived a couple of days ago. So I'm ready to rock and roll with that, printing out parts and getting stuff ready for that build now. So, yeah, it's we do get printers in every now and again. So, and again, a lot of boards and bits and pieces that come in. But, you know, more often than not, we get a lot of extrusion, metal extrusion. So I'm at that kind of stage now whereby, you know, if you're still buying printers stock from places like Creality, you know, really you should be thinking about maybe making them yourself, unless there's a particular feature on it that is, you know, amazing, which, you know, let's be fair, there's not been a huge amount of change over the last 3 years. It's pretty much just the same, but with a carbon fiber plastic on it now, isn't it? You know, it's not, there are advances, of course, but yeah, I mean, like I said, part of the reason that I like the Rat Rig and Voron and the guys that are doing all that kind of stuff is that you can pick your own parts. You're not going to be, you know, the CR6 is a nightmare because you've got this nozzle and you've got proprietary parts that you can only buy from Creality or, you know, third parties or whatever. I can't get a hot end for this thing, so I've got to wait for it to come to China from China to the UK. I've got to wait a good week or 2 weeks for this thing to turn up. You know, nobody's selling them, so it absolutely sucks. But with this thing, you know, I've got spare parts. I can buy the parts. I know what I'm doing with them. So I'm running Bondtech and Slice Engineering stuff on the majority of this stuff, and Big Tree Tech boards and, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting involved with Duet and seeing what, you know, that's all about, and Clipper and all that kind of other stuff. It's all an adventure for me. It's all about the education. So
yeah, Sam, Zach has a printer it doesn't have belts on. It's got string drive instead of belts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They wind up.
Usually,
wow.
It's basically fishing line. It's Spectra, so it does not stretch, and I use that instead of belts. And the advantage that gives me is my motors are actually located in the bottom of the printer instead of up where it's a Core XY. So I'm gonna hold on. Let me see if I can get the camera over here enough to show it all.
Oh, amazing! Thank you. No, that's fascinating. I love anything that's kind of new and I noticed you said something about was there a Core XY, or was there a printer you were talking about that's got such a small bed? Maybe that's the Ender 3.
No, that's this string drive. It's a small bed.
Okay.
But then you said Shane built one that's what, 500 by 500?
No, Shane's built one that's the exact same spec. I'm in my living room now, so I have the camera under the TV so I can put the video on the TV. All right, here we go. So it's changed a little bit since I last showed it off to you, Jerry. I've got the whole airhead design in it.
Okay.
Where you can kind of reach in. There used to be an extrusion here and just a hat that sat on it. But you see the strings?
Oh wow, okay. So so what's the response like on that then? Is it how's the tuning and stuff? Is that spot on or?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, you can't just do the normal like it's this size pulley. You have to actually measure it because the way the strings sit and the grooves are a little bit different every time. So calibration is a little bit more difficult. But it works great.
And that's all open source, isn't it?
Awesome.
Yeah. I've shared the SolidWorks file with Shane. It's very bare bones. I didn't set it up to be like a setup build guide kind of thing, but I've released the files for it. But it's got 3-point leveling. I'm running.
So what's the hot end on that? It looks like a mosquito.
It's a mosquito.
Okay.
I've got the fan in the back, and then this is an orbiter.
Yeah.
Stick on. And I use Cat 5 with these breakouts for the hot end wiring. I did that early on because I knew I was going to be changing things around until I got it the way I wanted it. The next
I need to mail you a sticker to make it run faster.
I think I've got it. I don't have one of your stickers on it, but I've got one of your stickers around.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a good printer. It's reliable. I don't really have to ever do anything to it. But yeah, that's the magic of it here is instead of a motor here, I've got this tensioner, and that bolt right there moves the center out. Hold on, let me see if I can. So you see there's 2 sets of pulleys here, 2 here, and 2 at the bottom, and this bolt pushes out for string tension. So
okay,
the movement motors are in the bottom. The only stepper motor above this level is the little one on the orbiter. So I can get this real hot in here. I don't have to worry about steppers overheating or anything.
Dixon's calling it spider wire.
Yeah, this is it's Spectra is what it's called. But
so what sort of speeds do you run that at then? How quickly will it run?
Pretty quick. I need to print some stuff. Give me a second. I'll start up a print, and y'all can see it run. Got the endoscope on it too. So, but check this out. This is the Ender 3 I have. This is something I need to release. I don't have a. Hold on. I got a flashlight. Ender 3 with an LGX on it.
Oh, nice. How are you finding that? The
LGX, I love it, man. It does a good job. And then we were talking about the Neopixels. That's my Nanoleaf knockoff built with those strip addressable LEDs.
Uh-huh.
I started building one of those, very similar to that. I've got it here, actually. Let me get it out. You probably will have recognized the design.
Yeah, it's tedious.
So this is the one that I started to work with. I was going to do a whole wall of it, but yeah, you're right. It very much is tedious. And then this is where it uses 12mm bullet LEDs, same as what I use for my LED lighting projects. But yeah, this is like a cloud. I don't know, but yeah, I just found if you don't use the same filament, it just starts clouding and doing different things within the print, unfortunately. So
Yeah, the way those work is real neat. It's like I said, it uses those strips. So you print the diffuser out, just white PLA.
Yep.
Then that's the base, and in each corner you just put a 4 LED segment off of that roll, and then when it's done, you clip that on, and they tell you to bolt them together, but I've been using zip ties just because it gives it a little bit more flexibility. I don't have to worry about it breaking, and it's almost impossible to get a tool up in there to tighten the bolt once it's all put together. So the design isn't great, but I'm making it work. I got to finish it. I got another
What are you doing? Cutting the strips and then just running wires to them?
Yeah. That's why it's so tedious. Is you have to cut the strips, and then each strip is 3 wires to the next one.
Are you soldering the wires, or are you putting little clips on them? Because soldering is a pain in the butt on those.
I'm soldering. I'm really, really good with a soldering iron. So, but when you made 150 connections and you're only halfway through,
Yeah.
I made my original UV oven. I took a toaster oven, I gutted it, and I put UV lights in it, and I wired it and soldered it. And a lot of my connections didn't hold, and I couldn't resolder them, and it was just kind of a pain.
this is another Thingiverse project that's going to have those LEDs in it. I got to print the bars, but this is going to be the same. It's going to have a Wemos in it, just like that does. And you run the strips through these arms, and the LEDs line up exactly with the posts. I've got some clear polycarbonate that I'm going to print instead.
Is that like a little DNA type statue?
Yeah.
Helix.
Okay. Yeah, you know, it's pretty crazy that they found stuff on planet Earth that's millions of years old, pictures and drawings and sculptures of DNA, things like that, that obviously we didn't have the technology back in the day to know any of that. So
very cool. Very cool.
I actually had an idea of buying piping, the clear piping, and making, putting the joints in and spelling out my name Chewy, and then painting like the one side green to make it look like Mario, and then putting those strip LEDs all inside the piping so it reflect out the back, and then actually just printing and painting little Mario characters to put around the piping, and then mounting it to my wall.
That's a good idea.
So that was actually going to be one of my videos that I'm going to be doing in the future.
awesome.
So I've just been trying to find the right clear piping that I can paint, because I don't want to go white. Right now, the best I could find is going to like Home Depot and finding it and then just, carving a groove out with a miter saw for the lighting to be able to shine out. But I'd rather just find clear piping that I can just paint.
How big around or what size of piping are you looking for?
I'm thinking about like an inch and a half, maybe.
You can probably find that in PETG, pre-made, somewhere online.
Well, it's not about the piping.
Or
It's
acrylic.
about having the joints and having the caps and everything else that would come along with it. I mean, I found clear piping in PTG, but yeah, but then it's just the piping. It's not all the other little attachments that I want to be able to make and spell it out. So I'll figure out a way to do it. I mean, just trying to figure it out now, but I mean, I've been, looking up online and trying to find different clear piping, but yeah, I do want to spell my name out, then put lights in it to make it shine out, and then put all the Mario characters on it, and just do a video on how to make that yourself, and then go in that route. So,
Hey, Sam, did you hear Jason had an accident? He wrecked and his balls went everywhere.
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, my balls ended up in the dirt, and I had to wash them.
His head into,
that's what happens when you party hard.
Yeah, shocker. Absolute shocker. Well, that's the way it goes, mate. I mean, the amount of times I've face planted fully aluminium R2D2 is quite often. It's quite often, actually.
So you cringe every time you do it?
I get a badge every time I do it. And they do I might have it here. Let's see if I can find it.
Did you ever tip an R2 over on set?
No, I did not. No.
Okay.
Oh, you actually did the ones on set?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm really not familiar with your work as much.
We had an interview. Let's see if I can phrase this properly, and he'll answer to it. We had an interview recently where I had found out that he had some of his droids in some different Star Wars movies, and he was on set, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. Did I say enough to make this go forward?
Yeah. So I was quite lucky to have been involved with the Rise of Skywalker, and
nice.
And it was cool. And then
that's every nerd's dream.
Stuff like this starts happening where you maybe create something that ends up being in the film and then becoming a toy and all that kind of shenanigans. So,
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Really jelly.
Cool. Yeah, really cool. I did some little bit of stuff with R2 as well. With the guy who made that, it's a guy called Lee Towersy.
Was he?
And he built him and a guy called Oliver Steeples built the R2D2 for the films. And so I'm part of the UK RT Builders Club. I'm a committee member, and we do charity events and all that.
So in other words, your name's probably in the credits of the movie.
Yes.
And you're now immortal.
Yeah, I've got an IMDb thing, whatever that is. So yeah.
So you're immortal now. Congratulations.
A few months ago, I entered Chewy. I interviewed Sam a few months ago on my weekly live stream. Go back and watch the video.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely go back and do that because now I'm really interested
about everything.
Yeah, so the R2 that's here is basically sort of obviously it's a replica, but that gets quite lucky that it's been used on so the European premiere. That was the droid that was used. The press junkets, that's the droid that was used. Pretty much all of, other than one, I think, event in December before the film came out was the blue carpet and Graham Norton show and Children in Need and all the charity stuff. I was involved with that as well, which is awesome, obviously. But obviously now that now we've got COVID and stuff, we're sort of trying to find other ways to keep ourselves amused. So I'm building more robots, and
it's funny. My text message tone on my phone is R2D2. I have multiple different R2D2 tones for all the different notifications I've got, so I know which ones they are. And I'll just be sitting there in public, and my phone and I'm just sitting there like, and they're like, "What the?" And I'm like, "He says your shirt's nice." Or, I'll just find some kind of random thing that just makes somebody laugh and then walk on, and I love that. R2 is like one of my favorite characters from Star Wars. And just seeing that there, it's like, I want that so bad.
Yeah. So I think that took me about 6 or 7 months to build.
Imagine a 3D printer that you need to be able to make a full size R2, like without having to piece it. Is that pieced or is that one print?
That's fully aluminium. That is as likened to the droid on set that you could possibly get.
Now, how do you with it being aluminium? Is that something that was smeltered, or is that something that you shaped?
So basically, the parts are via the club. So you can get you can buy the dome that from the UK RT Builders Club, and there's a run that's done of those. So they might do 10, for example. So Lee, who again is one of the main guys involved with it, he will do a run of maybe 20 domes, and you can buy that dome. So I was quite lucky with this one because there were parts that were available 10 years ago, and I managed to basically purchase parts off of other builders that were coming out of the building committee and stuff. So the skins are autographed by Kenny Baker. I've also got Leeds.
Machined.
Yeah, and I've also got Hassan Taj, who's the new R2D2. He's the latest R2D2 that's inside the droid itself. I got his first signature on the dome, so I took it into Pinewood one day and he signed it, and that was awesome. It's kind of it's nice to be able to have that kind of connection with people, and he is especially an absolutely awesome dude as well. But yeah, I've been really lucky, sort of one-to-one with JJ Abrams, and there was a particular scene where 3PO and R2D2 are due to go back up onto the Millennium Falcon, and JJ's like, right, we need someone to move R2D2, and I was like, what? So I was on the floor behind R2D2. Anthony Daniels is here, and his leg is here. I'm on the floor under R2, basically trying to move him from left to right and sort of give him this wobble. And I can hear Anthony going, "Oh, I can see that somebody is down there on the floor. Who is that?" And I was going, "Oh, it's me. It's Sam, the R2 guy." He's, "Oh, right, okay." Then it's absolutely incredible stuff. So, you know, and JJ was like, hey, can you get down and do this? And, you know, and what would happen a lot of the time is JJ would come up to me and say, hey, can you do this with R2? And I'll go up to Lee, who's got the controls, and I go, right, we need this for this next scene. And he's going, what are you doing? I'm like, I've got no idea, but I'm being told by the big man what to do, and here I am doing it. So just in an insane amount of time. And, you know, Warwick Davis, and you're in Star Wars. You know, there's no two ways about it. You know, the scene that I filmed on the most was with the blockade runner, and that was real. That's all that stuff's real. You can get onto the ship. You can see people in the front of the ship. None of that stuff is CG. That was all live effects on the day, at the time, filming. It was just insane. So, yeah, I'm very, very fortunate. A right place, right time, right attitude, I think, is probably the.
That is awesome. That is. I mean, that's every nerd's dream. That's every Star Wars fan's dream, is to be able to be part of the making of that, you know. And it's just awesome to have that as an experience, you know, and to have that bragging right, you know.
Yeah, and I certainly like to talk about it, but it's you know, it's one of those things, you know. That's my childhood right there, you know. That is to be on set doing that on the last film.
That is awesome.
Was an absolute privilege and an absolute honor, and to meet the people that I met and to be amongst it. And you're walking through, and you are in it. You know, it's insanity that you're inside of that. And I got to walk on the bridge of a Star Destroyer. I got to, you know, walk around all the crazy sets that were there, and you know, you sort of just have to sort of breathe it all in and just try and be cool about it, because you can't just be like a quibbling little crying girl. You got to play it cool. You'd be like, oh right, yeah, we're in Star Wars then, are we? Right, oh, okay. And the day that the Falcon was in a place called Black Park, and I said, where's R2? He's on the ship. Right. He goes, do you want to go on the ship? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. So we walk up the ramp. For the Falcon, and I'm so gutted because inside of it, it's just scaffold poles. And oh man, you know, I thought
it ruins it. Like you're ready to like see the ship. And
totally. So I was like, oh god,
just go to Disney, you'll see it.
Well, here's the thing, right? So the next thing, so Pinewood Studios is basically where they used to film the old Carry On movies, right? So in the old set of where that used to be and where it was all filmed, there is a load of studios off of that. So we went through into one of those, and there was the inside of the Millennium Falcon. So, you know, I still got to go on it, but, you know, through the joy of film, which is just incredible, absolutely incredible.
Well, hopefully here by 2022, they will have the museum done that George Lucas is having built in LA. It's supposed to be scheduled for 2022 to open, so it is being currently built right now, which is going to be awesome because he's going to take everything out of Skywalker Ranch and put it in this museum, so we'll be able to see all the original pieces and everything with it. And I go to a lot of Comic Cons and stuff like that, and I've met a lot of the people from behind the scenes of Star Wars, and I'll tell you what, everyone I've met loves Star Wars, and they love the people that love Star Wars. I mean, we have a guy that's here in Ohio where I live at. He was the original from the original movie, actually the original 3 movies, that was the director of photography. And he has his own little museum set up at his house, and he likes to go to Star Wars nerds that collect, and he wants to go see their stuff. And that's what he does. He spends his retirement just hanging out with Star Wars nerds all day long. He'll just go to people's houses and hang out and talk shop, and he brings books and things from when he was working. He loves to show it off, and it was just so awesome to get to sit down with him and see the photography that he took from throughout the making of the movie and stuff. And everyone I've met has just been so awesome, you know, being part of it. And it's just, I don't know, there's no other movie out there that can just touch people like Star Wars did, you know.
Here's Mr. Badelli's Patreon if anybody wants to join and build with us. It's a $5 tier. Here is a link to Mr. Badelli's Facebook group, and then here's a link to the group that Sam recently started. I'd rather be 3D printing, so if you want to build along with us,
I joined that one.
Anything posted on this group needs to be droid or, you know, what were things related to that.
Yeah. So the idea of this was that, you know, I'm already doing this. Then lockdown happens, and I'm still building ALT droids. I managed to get some sponsorship from GTech, and Creality have been very helpful and all that kind of stuff. And the YouTube channel started to gain a little bit of traction. And off the back of that, it's for me, I kind of like educating and showing people how things are done. And certainly for me, it was, creating this group and working with Jerry and Tripod and, Jason, Marcel, all those guys, and Tim, it's been really good. And it's nice to be able to share that. So regardless of where you are within this Star Wars thing, Star Wars is everywhere. You turn on the TV, there's always a remark about Star Wars. You watch Family Guy, there's always a Star Wars reference. And, maybe this is just my little piece of being able to give it back to, various people, and they're able to buy or build through 3D printing a robot that it replicates, and they've done it themselves. And I think that's quite empowering when you've actually physically made something and assembled something yourself. And yeah, it might be plastic, or it might be aluminium or styrene or wood, or however you decide to make these things. But certainly for me, it's all about sharing that knowledge and sharing that wealth of building and being part of the magic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So were you at Celebration Chicago? Cheery.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Were you at Celebration Chicago?
No, I'm in Ohio.
Okay, so you didn't go to the Star Wars event?
No, I did not. I wanted to, but yeah, I wasn't able to.
Oh,
so yeah.
That's one of the last ones we probably will have for a little while, I imagine. But yeah, we shall see. But things are opening up right over there now.
Yeah, actually, it is. It is opening up, and I mean, they're getting the shots out there, and I haven't gotten mine yet, but we'll get there. I think we'll bounce back from this, hopefully, and
I think so. Yeah, I certainly think so. So what we're seeing here then is your printer, right?
Yeah, that's the stream drive. I mean, it's first layer, so it's going slow. But if you watch when it travels, you'll see just how quick this thing can move. My accelerations are super high on it.
What have you got it up to then? What's the numbers looking like?
Let me see. It's been so long since I've set it up. I don't remember the numbers.
What are you slicing with?
Simplify. I use Simplify on everything. I use Prusa Slicer on the Odex. Prusa does multi-material a lot better, I think. Let's see.
Is that camera mounted on the drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, my acceleration is 7,000, and my max velocity is 300.
Wow. Okay.
My travel moves, I think I have set at 250. Let me check the slicer.
So I've been watching on YouTube these 8-minute benchies, and I thought I got the BQBX. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna turn this up to 500 and see what happens. And it was atrocious. But that's why not? That's the.
There's a guy who's got it under 6 minutes now. I mean, it looks
Really?
horrible, but it finishes. It's all there.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I love all that. I love the fact that there's people out there that are trying to push the limits, and I think that's what a lot of this is all about. Especially when I've always just had CR10s, and then it all kind of kicked off with droid building and actually being Michael Bedeli with his being able to actually create. And the reason he did all this, bear in mind, the reason he did all this is because some people said to him, "You can't print an R2D2, a full size R2D2."
Oh, really?
And 12,500 members on his Facebook group later, I imagine there are more than probably 500 R2s that are laid claim to by Michael at this point. And I imagine that it's overtaken the original building community in numbers and volumes that had been put out into the marketplace. So, it's cool. It's cool.
So it turns out I had my speed turn way down because I was printing a really, really small part. So I just turned it up in the wrong printer. Hold on. So
How much higher do you kick your temperatures up when you crank it up real fast?
well, Well, this is Snow Labs polycarbonate carbon fiber. Yeah, that's what I'm more used to.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, no, that's fast.
I'm running 260 on the hot end and 110 on the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what my first layer normally looks like. This should be, let's see. Yeah, requested speed 25. When it actually starts printing, it'll run about 80.
Well, now you're getting a lot of motion blur from it, so you can definitely tell it's sped up. Oh, by the way, I saw that Uncle Jesse found a way to be able to sell his Resin Labs cords again, and I did order one there, Jerry.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen a video about that. Yeah, he got a hold of Etsy. They said they'd call him back Monday. They didn't. He called them Tuesday, and they basically said, don't call us. Unbelievable. Yeah. They're building them at home. He should have been able to sell them on Etsy. And why
That's a dumb way to treat a YouTube channel person, especially one as popular as that.
Well, he's been selling on there for years anyway. He has other things that he sells that he designs for Xbox controllers and different things. So I don't know why that happened.
So what exactly happened in the end then? I did see the story, but why was he kicked off it?
He's selling somewhere else. I forget where it's at that he's selling the Resin Labs cables now, but he did find another site to sell them. So
yeah.
So it's because he sold it somewhere else, or
well, he is now. He had them on his Etsy store, and I ordered one. It hooks up to my DSLR, and it's got a photo sensor of some sort, another end. That every time your resin printer does a layer and it kicks on the UV lights, it takes a picture. And they were another man were building these at home, Andrew Sink, and selling them. And he did build them. It is something you can technically sell on Etsy. And since he sold on there before and currently does, they checked all the fine print. There's no reason why they can't sell them. He mailed out like 180 of them. Then all of a sudden one day Etsy shut him down and wouldn't tell him why they shut him down. And then I got an email yesterday from Etsy wanting me to rate my product with them, which I'm not going to rate it because he can't even log into his account anymore. They completely locked him out.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And they won't tell him why. They won't tell him what he did.
This is making me feel sick, guys. Good God. Wow. It's like being on a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's giving me a little motion sickness. I had to turn away from it.
If you wait until you see a travel, that 200 millimeters a second travel, if it's a short travel, it's like the camera cuts out and then it's at its next point.
I'll pull it off and we'll come back to it. There we go. I'll leave it running there. Let me know when you want
to take a Dramamine to be on this channel.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, there's
right. I'm going to run out and take the dog out. Chewy, if you ping me your address, I'll ship you out a Pinewood SHP patch. So I'll go through Jerry and connect in. Let me know.
All right, absolutely.
Top man. All right, guys, I'm going to shoot. Thanks for having me on, Jerry. I appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too.
Right,
thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah, I'm getting really hungry, and I actually, in all honesty, hearing about an hour and a half, I'm going to be going live on YouTube doing airbrushing. So I definitely go get ready for that. So
did that come through okay?
Yeah, I heard it.
All right.
Careful, that's my mating call.
Little chewy action there.
Yeah. I might watch you. That's something I want to. I think airbrushing is.
I wouldn't watch me
because
I'm not a how-to airbrushing channel. I'm a how not to airbrushing channel.
That works better for me. If I see all the things I'm not supposed to do, then I'm usually left with I just won't do it. I save the money, find other things. If I can hire someone, I will. It doesn't matter what it is. If I can hire,
I actually had a guy and I had to let him go. Yeah. So I'm literally just on there and I'm just like, all right, watch me to learn not what to do. You know, I mean, watch me butcher this. This is more like, it's more of a comedy than a how-to, you know?
Yeah.
As long as you don't wash any resin down a drain, I'll be okay.
Yeah, hell's fun. The problem I have with the whole Etsy thing is if you do something wrong, they need to tell you what you did wrong so you can fix the problem or explain what they don't understand. They shouldn't just shut you down and not communicate and say, don't call us back. We don't want to hear you.
And
they told him he violated a rule,
that
right?
Same cord
from
another guy.
If they violated something, then they should tell him what it was so he can fix the problem.
How did you get it from someone else?
Somebody else is making those cords and selling them on Etsy for $18.99.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's from Germany. Another guy from Germany, and they didn't take him down. Like his is up there, and I bought it from him. I mean, it's coming from Germany, so it'll be here next year. But I mean, at least I got one ordered. But then I went ahead and bought one from Uncle Jesse, and I was like, all right, let's see which one shows up first. Yeah. I bought his just in hopes that his will show up earlier so I can get started on the videos, because that's the one thing that's holding me back from my channel is I want those videos of the resin laps that coming straight out. I want that, as part of it. I'm going to put music behind it and stuff. It's one of the ideas in my head. So I got everything.
Really nice.
I got the camera, the ring lights. I got everything but that cord.
Yeah.
So
I picked one up just to play with it, and now he said like if it shipped, or if you're not sure if it shipped or whatever, he's like, good luck, because he doesn't even have access to the sales.
Yeah.
Or the account or anything. He's like, call Etsy. He's like, there's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah, I saw that. That's just sad that Etsy did it. And then they do stuff like that, and that's the problem is, and then they don't tell you anything because they don't have to tell you anything.
Know where Etsy's based out of? Are they based out of any particular country?
I don't know.
I know every time I've ever talked to eBay on the phone in the years past, it's a secret where they're at, and they don't want to tell you on the phone where you're, who you call.
Well, because they know when you're calling, you're not the person that they want to show up at their door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies like that just hide where they're really truly out of,
Yeah.
Hell, there's businesses that you wouldn't believe they're running out of a basement of a house that you would think would be in a big place, but Yeah, that thing is fast. I will give you that. That is very fast.
And that's where I normally run it too. That's not like I'm in a hurry, I need a part now.
Yeah. That is really, really fast. That's one of the reasons I switched to strictly resin, was because I do mostly models and lithophanes, and the resin's so much faster, and then the lines are more clean, so that's why I made a switch. I kind of regret it now that I sold all my FDM. I kind of wish I held on to them just because I want to be able to do TPU and things like that, because then I probably would be part of the droid building process and it'd be part of that show, and I'd be on there every single week with you guys and cussing when my things catch fire and and all that. But
there's no time like the present. Don't procrastinate while you're sitting there talking on your other monitor. Pull up.
Maybe if I found one of these 3D printing guys that that could help me out with TPU, maybe I could do it.
TPU is not hard. There's nothing hard about TPU.
It's not hard to print TPU. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying I don't have an FDM printer anymore. I only got resins. So I need somebody to do that for me.
The little FL Sun works fine. It's like $239. You can print 5 or 6 at a time. It'll work fine.
I just bought a Saturn, and my wife gave me the look, so I got to really watch now. I got to watch.
Well, give her a look back.
Well, start an Etsy store. Hope you get paid, and then you can take that money.
Yeah, I've already done that. I'm on Etsy. I've got my own website and Etsy.
It says they're based out of Brooklyn, New York, is where their headquarters is. But headquarters could be, like you said, somebody's mom's basement.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're probably a little bigger than that, so they might rent
all
a
they are is a reseller. Like, what more do they need but just, an accounting department and
and
a
servers.
Web development.
Yeah. With that, they could even just hire.
Oh, they don't even have the servers there. I doubt they have the servers. They're all in iClouds.
Yeah.
Etsy runs iClouds off of Amazon.
I've only sold 3 things on Etsy. I haven't received feedback from any of the 3 people. When I sold my Spawn statue, I had it for 25% off. I sold it for $300, and I was happy as hell. But after I gave free shipping to Texas and all their fees, I got $176 out of $300.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, if you want to print another one of those spawns, I'll give you 180. So it's, and I'll give you a review somewhere.
Here's the problem with Etsy. Etsy was great until they got popular, and then when they got popular, they got greedy. And so Etsy has this thing out now that if they take your product and they put it on Facebook for you to promote you, they tack on an extra 10% on top of their fees on top of that if they market you for you.
So they're using you to make money for themselves, and at the same time, they cut back into you to make more money for themselves.
Yep. And here's the thing. If you sell something on Facebook, let's say that they put it on Facebook to promote you, and you make that sale, and that person decides, hey, I like their product, I want to go back and buy more. If they do it within 30 days of making that original purchase, that 10% carries over on anything else they purchased 30 days after they made that original purchase from when they promoted you. Yes.
Wow.
It's something they just started 3 months ago.
Wow.
A lot of people are bailing Etsy and going eBay now because eBay has kept their structure the whole way.
Yeah.
Well, and
Etsy's
eBay, anybody can get their mony back, and it's a big.
You still get scammed on eBay though. So my wife sells tons of stuff through Mercari. Have you ever heard of that? MERCARI?
Isn't that where Uncle Jesse went through? Was Mercari?
No, he went to Big Cartel, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right, Big Cartel.
Yeah. And
See, I use
Mercari, I bought
WooCommerce
a few things.
myself.
It's actually pretty good. Like, the sellers don't get paid until the person who receives it marks it received and leaves some kind of feedback. Now, there's a cutoff to that. Obviously, if you just never do it, the Mercari finally says, okay, well, you get paid. But it keeps both sides honest. And you do all your shipping through them, so they track it. You can't, it's a little more closed. But I think it's a lot safer because, one of her friends sells a lot of stuff on eBay, and they'll get bad feedback. They'll want to return. She'll just go ahead and do the return, and she sent out 10 pairs of jeans. She gets back 5 bricks or whatever, a box of whatever. It's never what she sent out. She gets scammed all the time. Yeah. And since she's been doing Mercari, not once, never once. See, Jerry, I've got a friend who loves Spawn, and I need to give him your Etsy link if you ever post that. Or is that one going to go to your son?
No, this is the one I've done in resin. I'm going to keep it. It'll probably end up going to my son unless I do another one. I might make another one or two, and I could always keep one and put one up on Etsy. But I'm not going to mass produce anything for Etsy. I only sell usually what I print. I print, I post up, or I do a video, and then I keep it, and then I sell it.
He's got stuff made out of metal, signed by McFarlane, and he's all about Spawn. Mm-hmm. And he would, oh my gosh, he would.
Yeah, the one that I sold on Etsy was 150% scale. Tony Chambers had a commission from 3D Model crowdfund group on Facebook, and my son's is 275%, which is really huge.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah.
And what's cool about this in resin, chains are really hard to do in FDM. Because supports and getting the chains cleaned up, usually chains look terrible. But on this one, luckily, everything came out good. I hollowed everything out, and the cape was even done in resin. And most of the time, people will print figures in resin, and then large bases they have to print on FDM or capes because the resin printer is too small. Mm-hmm. And the cape was cut up in 3 or 4 different parts. I can pull a pin, and I can take the cape off. It's got a magnet on the back, but there's no reason to remove it. But, yeah, came out real good. It's real easy to paint. I've done 3 or 4 of them now.
Well, I mean, he's mostly red, black, and white. I mean, it's pretty solid colors. But of course, it's cartoons. So cartoons you don't have variations and variants and gradients and stuff like that in paint jobs on cartoons because it's all solid colors.
Yeah, the white is the hardest thing to paint, getting around the eyes.
Oh yeah,
all the defining stuff, his head comes off. So,
do you have different heads that can swap, or is it just that one?
On this one, it's just the one head. And that comes off because when you put part of the cape on, the head gets in the way. So,
I don't have any need for a resin because most of the stuff I like to print's mechanical.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that makes sense for you.
Yeah,
for me, I just got tired of my FDM printers constantly breaking, replacing hot ends, clogs, and belt tensioning and bed leveling, and I struggled really hard with FDM a lot, and then. But of course, the thing I make is like what he makes. I make models and I make figurines because I'm a nerd and I like my desk to be populated with a bunch of crap and things to dust. But gives my wife something to do. And so
see, my day job, I work at a machine shop as a CNC programmer.
Oh, see, well, you already got that. So yeah, that's just right up your alley, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, the 3D printing is what got me into doing that.
That FDM is not going to do something like this straight off the printer. I mean, detail, no lines, and and it's just absolute smoothness all the way up. So I mean, it's or something like this, just one solid piece, no layer lines, right off the printer, just smooth.
But if
ready
you
for
drop
paint.
that, Chewy, it's shattered into 100 pieces. If I drop,
No, it won't.
a
Not
PLA
necessarily.
piece,
No, because I put tenacious in all my resins, so it gets rid of that brittleness and it makes it more durable.
okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I actually got smart. I bought the big 5K jugs of tenacious. Because then it comes out to like $50 a bottle instead of $65 a bottle. So I buy the big jugs of tenacious. I put 20% tenacious in everything I do, just because I hate that brittleness that resin does.
Go ahead,
Is
Zach.
that a gyroid infill?
Yeah, I think it calls it Fast Hex.
Okay.
Simplify.
How much does it shake the machine?
The machine's hardly moving.
Wow.
Can you show us another camera view of it working from like a foot or two back?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's like my dead list will be pretty steady going fast on a gyroid, but this Ender 6, that thing's about to flip itself out the window.
That's
it
one
not been
thing I
for
miss
3D
about
printing?
FDM printers.
Had it not been for 3D printing, I wouldn't have known anything about CNC at all. So 3D printing led me to a career in CNC machining, basically.
That's what I miss about FDM printers, is because I used to always keep it right here next to me on my desk, and I would just, I'm not gonna lie, I get a little baked, and I would sit there and just stare at it and watch it do its thing. Like resin, you can't do that, but with FDM, I would just sit there, be mesmerized by watching it go around and around and around. I'd just sit there for like an hour just staring at it, like it was mesmerized. It was relaxing for some reason. I do miss that.
Red light, my spawn was printed on my Frozen Mighty 4K. And Chewy, what printers do you have that you're printing with?
Pure Polyphenoms, Elegoo Mars, and then soon a Saturn. I finally got my Saturn, so
very cool.
Yeah, I sold a couple printers to a coworker of mine. He wanted to get into 3D printing. He was doing a lot of tabletop Star Wars gaming and wanted to make some of his own pieces. So I sold him a Q5 to get him started, and he told me his daughter would come up to him and tell him and ask him, "Are you going to bed? How long are you just going to sit there and stare at that?" Watching the print head move around, and he's like, "It's been 5 minutes." She's like, "Dad, it's been an hour and a half." He's like, "No," and then he said, I don't know, a couple weeks go by, and he was printing something for her. She figured out where to Thingiverse and said, "Print me this," and then he caught her staring at it, and he did it to her. "How long are you going to sit there and stare at it? It's been an hour." And then of course the wife too. Then he says he caught his wife staring at it but said nothing. So smart.
You guys remember your first PC when you got your first computer and you were probably on it almost all night? And it's like, oh shit, I got to go to bed. I got to go to work in a couple hours. But you just get so involved in
PC. I still do that.
Yeah.
That hasn't stopped.
I didn't go to bed till 6:30 in the morning last night.
Until I had my surgery a couple of years ago, I was up till 3 or 4 in the morning, constantly doing something. And then after I had my medical problems, and I, stopped doing it so much. And I would never sit down. Everywhere I ever went my entire life, to a friend's house, relatives, Thanksgiving, I always stood up. And since I've had these medical issues, you see me in a chair all the time. But I would be standing the whole live stream. I would never sit down.
Yeah,
so I got to sit. I need to reposition the camera and go back to standing up all the time.
Yeah, I sit everywhere I go. I embraced what I am.
Well, it only hurts your body, so
I know.
You got to stay in shape.
Nobody's getting out of this live and healthy. Let me tell you what.
If you're going
to live the old age, you're going to break down. I mean,
since I got back out of the
what you do.
Last time I put 70 pounds back on, I'm extremely fat right now, and I'm only 5'7.5", so I look like a roly-poly.
Yeah,
I see myself in a picture or something. I go, "Oh my god, I look like that." Yeah, you do.
Yeah, me too.
It's funny, Zach, that you talk about how it led into your job. It reminds me of an article that I read about what's that German beer? The green bottle, Heineken. They were the first beer company to embrace 3D printing. They decided that they kept having parts that would break down a lot on their lines, and it would cost them a fortune to get them shipped, and it would take them like 2 weeks to get that part that was a consumable shipped to them, and it would cost them almost $1 million every time the line went down. So they went to this 3D printer, and they said, hey, we want you to come in. We'll give you the lab of your dreams. We'll build you whatever you want. And so they did it. They built the lab. They gave him an amazing salary. On the first part that they replaced on their line, covered all the money for their salary for 5 years, all the money for making the lab that they done, just the very first part, they recuperated all their money from hiring one 3D printer. And then they brought in CAD artists that improved the part. And now they just mass produce all the parts that their lines are only down for like 15 minutes now instead of 2 weeks. And it saves them so many millions of dollars. Now all the other companies are picking up 3D printing people, and they're doing the same thing.
Well, the U.S. military is doing something similar. They're trying to push ahead on getting as many parts on warships 3D printable as possible, and they'll install these big direct metal 3D printers on the boats, so that when a part breaks down on the boat, instead of having to do without until one can show up, or instead of having to roll out into the ocean with a million replacement parts for everything they can break, they've got a printer, and they can just have the guy on board pull up the part, throw it in the printer, and then pull it off and be good to go.
There's actually a lot of military contracts for making body armor for like special forces and stuff. They'll send you all the materials you need. They'll send you everything. You got to weigh everything, but they paid my buddy. He has a printer farm. They paid him $10,000 for 2 weeks worth of printing. They sent him all the materials and everything, paid him $10,000, and he made these body armor out of Kevlar on FDM and shipped it back to him, and they paid him $10,000 for doing that. Wow. And it was just one set of body armor for a soldier, but there was research and development. But they keep rehiring him to keep doing this 3D printing for body armor for him and stuff. But it's a special material they won't release out, but he gets it. And what they sent him is hot in. They sent him everything. They just wanted his printers is all they wanted. his time on his printers. And so he rents out printers to government contracts.
A good example at the machine shop, we do a lot of outside machining. Some of our guys were having to work on a boat, and they were having to bolt a machine, just a mill, to the roof in this room on this boat to do this machine work on something that mounts to the roof. And one of the requirements was they could not scratch the surface. What they were bolting the machine to, clamping the machine to, it could not scratch it. They had to maintain the surface finish. So what they were going to have to do was cut up a bunch of aluminum shims and make sure that they didn't have any burrs on them or anything, and put the steel toe clamps on aluminum shims and hope for the best. And I said, we've got a 3D printer now because I built a Hevo RT for work. I've got a second one I've got to build soon. But that wasn't running at the time. I'm like, give me the clamps. Let me measure the clamps, and I'll make little shoes out of polycarbonate for the clamps. And I made these little tiny shoes that just clip on the end of the clamp. And then that polycarbonate was strong enough to hold up the couple 100-pound mill and not deform or anything. So, that took one afternoon of printing. Every single clamp was different, so I had to measure every single one. I set it up in SolidWorks, though, to where it was really easy to just change, like measure this point, measure this point, measure this point, and the model would update.
And see, that's where it came in handy. I mean, they were ready to go old school with it and ask for shims, but you were able to 3D print a whole different solution that was way better, and that's the beauty of 3D printing that we have out there. And, we can do things like that, I mean, they got the carbon fiber, they got the titanium printers now that they make those super rims out for hypercars,
Yeah, we might be getting a direct metal printer soon.
I wouldn't mind doing the chocolate ones for like bakers and stuff, and start making chocolate, things. Why not? I'm fat. Why not? I mean, chocolate.
The guy that I bought my camera from on Facebook has a pawn shop in California, Sacramento, I believe. And he sent me some pictures of. He didn't know what it was, and it looked like a chocolate printer. And I threw it up on my Facebook group and on Twitter, and a couple people threw the name up. So I told him what he had because he didn't know, and I don't know if it's all there, but he wanted $100 for it. he said shipping would be expensive on it, so I sent him an eBay link on what they normally sell for, so now he can do what he wants with it. But I don't know if the whole thing is there or not. It's a novelty thing that if you had it at home, it's like, wow, this is cool. While you're setting it up, you're going to eat all the ingredients, and then you're done anyway. So you would probably never use it.
If you had a restaurant, that'd be good. But
if they had something,
if you're really into it, so you could do that, Chewy. You can get one of those chocolate printers. You can do like a big Darth Vader helmet or something or whatever. Paint it with edible paint. Show off your new print, and then just start eating it on your YouTube video. That's just
eat your way out of the helmet.
Your thumbnail is just biting into a new print. Yeah, there you go. Clicks.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, like a lot of times, I can do it now for chocolate and stuff. I mean, all you gotta do is 3D print it, make a mold out of silicone, and then just pour the chocolate and then be done with it. And I mean, and that's the beauty of it too, is you can cater to, if you really want to sell it. Hey, what's up, SPC? You can cater to the culinary arts by saying, hey, look, I can make anything you want, and I can make you a mold to be able to pour your chocolate. Because I mean, custom wedding cakes is a huge thing. I worked in the wedding industry as a DJ for close to 12 years, and people pay stupid money for weddings. Stupid money for weddings. I mean, I'm doing a whole litho thing for weddings, and then like I'm about to release that with the color lithopanes, and like I'm wanting to go into wedding.
I've never heard him play yet.
Huh?
Zach is a musician, but I've never heard him play yet. You're a bass player, right?
I haven't played in a couple of years. I've got an amp. I got nowhere to put it.
Bass player?
Yeah.
You know how you get a bass player off your doorstep, don't you?
Pay for the pizza.
That's right. You hang around musicians long enough, you hear all the jokes. And
yeah.
Who's the guy that hangs out with musicians?
The singer?
Bass player.
Oh, the singer.
Yeah, I actually did radio for 5 years. So, yeah, and I did a lot of the original artists and promoted them and stuff like that. So I hung out with artists and heard all the jokes, and they made fun of each other. Huh?
How long ago was that?
7 years ago. 8 years ago. Yeah, about 8 years ago. It was when I stopped. But I did it for 5 years. So,
you ever heard of a band called Shallow Side?
Yes, I've actually interviewed them.
Funny story. I'm their original bass player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met them at Rock on the Range up here in Ohio.
Yeah, Eric and I used to live like 3 minutes away from Heath, and we'd go practice at his house. And
oh, you know where Heath is?
Yeah, I know where Heath lives. I could drive to his house right now.
Oh, Heath. I thought you meant Heath, Ohio. I'm like, wait a minute.
No.
Oh,
Heath,
okay.
Heath, the drummer of Shallow Side.
Shallow Side, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I say I know where his parents' house. I don't know if he's still lives.
He's a musician. Of course, he didn't move out. No.
But yeah, so yeah, I left the band right before they changed their name to Shallow Side.
You ever heard of a band called Wayland?
Yeah.
I was there at their signing.
Sweet.
I was sitting there right behind them when they were signing their contract, when they got picked up. Yeah, and Boba Flex, I was there for theirs. I was there for their first and their last show, actually.
Why on Facebook, when you've seen something a couple days ago, you can't scroll back through and find it disappeared?
Too much information, too much content.
It's like, I want to look at this one ad for this one energy drink company that's not G Fuel, and I'm scrolling and I can't find it.
I'm going to see if I can find a picture of me on stage with one of the guys from Shallow Side. They did real well for themselves. I was impressed with how far they ended up going.
Mm-hmm. That is a hard life, though, man.
Yeah, that's why I got out of it.
That is a hard life. You wouldn't believe how many musicians I've got to come to my studio when I had it and we were doing shows, and the only thing you had to pay them with was a home cooked meal, because all they ever eat all day long is pizza.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Because everything's got to be catered for them to show up, and the easiest thing to cater is pizza. So they just bring pizza, and they're like, we are so pizza out. They're like, we hate, most musicians that are on the road hate pizza because of that, because that's all they ever eat. And so we would get big names coming in if you just cooked them a home cooked meal, you know. But musicians were a lot easier to get interviews with versus trying to get modelers to interview.
Here we go. Hold on.
How does my lighting look? I got my light on above me on the ceiling and a ring light in front of me. Am I too bright? Look all right?
No, you're fine. Your only thing is you're going to need a casting side for your right side, because you're casting a shadow down this side of your face. So if you had a white light balance on this side, just putting a general white light, a soft white light, you would pop a lot better.
All right.
And then I would put a diffuser on the one up above you, or maybe start putting makeup on your head, because you're casting a really big shine on your head right here.
Yeah.
And you would want to eliminate that. The best way to do is just put a little foundation on your head. I don't have it on me, but before I go live, you'll actually see that I won't shine on my head because I actually put foundation on my head. It gets rid of that shine off your head.
So there you go, Chili. You recognize him?
Yeah, absolutely. I see the guy in the background too. The beard's a lot shorter, but
And the stomach's a lot flatter too.
Oh yeah.
So what made you leave? What made you not go with the band when they went? Did you leave before they got signed, or did you leave after they got signed?
No, I left before they even started touring.
Oh, okay.
When I left, we were still very, very small regional. It wasn't another two or 3 years after I left before they started getting big and getting signed. The first trip out of the South they took was to Michigan. And that was like 2 months after I left. Big drama thing. I don't really want to get into it.
I understand. Trust me, I understand.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the first real band I was ever in. I'd played with some other guys before, but it was just basically hanging out and getting drunk kind of deal. But yeah, that's my closest claim to fame.
Awesome. Hey, you still got to do it. You still did it. You still went up on the stage, and you still performed. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing. I've sang with a couple bands. There's no drug in this world that can match that kind of sensation when you've got a crowd of people who are half drunk, or fully drunk, out dancing and just having a good time from you performing. And I wish I was better at singing, and I could be in a band.
Well, if they were drunk and they booed, then you're definitely not very good at singing. So.
Well, yeah. Well, luckily I was a backup singer. I wasn't a lead. Okay. So. Yeah, I'm not good enough for lead, but I mean, just that sensation of being up on stage and just performing. There's no drug in this world that can mimic that. Feeling.
Another reason I kind of got away from playing too is my music tastes have changed a lot over the last couple of years, and I don't have the skill or talent to play the type of music that I like to listen to, and nobody local plays it.
Polka is hard.
I listen to like progressive metal. Really like.
Just keep your finger on that button, Jerry. I'll be going all day.
But no, like the stuff I listen to is like it's very, very like highbrow progressive metal. Like you got to have a good, solid understanding of music theory and all that kind of junk. And like I can't read sheet music. You hand me an instrument and say, "Tell me where the G is," and I'm like, So it's like, I'm gonna listen more than play now. 'Cause I'm fully self-taught. I've always played by ear, so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My music, after being in radio and that, my music taste really changed a lot. I'm more for trying to find the artists that you don't know about. You know, the underground stuff, the stuff that's just coming out that they're trying to make popular.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff that I go for. So I listen to a lot of indie music, a lot of indie hard rock and metal. I don't get into the whole screamo thing because, yeah, I just get headaches. But I listen to a little bit of screamo. But I mean, honestly, I try to stay. I do a little mainstream, but then I really veer off. And I try to find that other stuff that is out there that is just not popular because
my favorite bands are instrumental.
Okay, yeah.
So
you ever listen to that Leo out of the Netherlands that does covers and metal? He's really good. I love when people take other songs and change the genre of them.
Yeah.
Like Leo Miricelli, I think I can't pronounce it. It's one of those names that my brain can't function in pronouncing right. But he goes by Leo, and he covers metal. He just covers all kinds of songs. And he makes some metal. It's a whole YouTube channel. He does his own videos and everything. It's really impressive. I highly recommend looking him up. He's one of my favorites, but he does some really awesome metal covers, you know. And I like that. I like when people take music from one genre and move it over. Like what's that jukebox something on YouTube where they take like metal songs and they'll turn them into like 20 swings music and stuff. You know, and I like that kind of stuff. I like that. I'm weird like that. So I don't know. Radio really destroyed me in music. Honestly, when I found out the truth about radio, I walked away from it because it's all voice tracked. It's all fake. It's all about the money. The only way you get popular is you got to pay a bunch of money to become popular. That's it. You know, it's not about what's good anymore. It's just about whose pockets are deep that can pay off the radio stations to play your stuff.
Yep. And
Clear Channel controls all of that. And, you know, F Clear Channel. That's all I can say. They ruined it. Voice tracking ruined radio, period. And they created voice tracking. And I got paid $6 an hour for 6 hours a week to broadcast 20 hours worth of broadcasts because it was all just me reading a script, going in one day for 6 hours, read a script, and they just plugged it in where they wanted it. You know, and I hated that. There was no money in it. There's nothing in it. And technology and Clear Channel just really ruined radio for me. And so, you know, I gave up on it. I stopped letting radio tell me what to listen to. I got tired of telling them, tell me what's popular. And I belong to a lot of YouTube channels where I just go and they show me like stuff out there that's new and unheard of. And I like that music. That's the stuff that I like. You know, the people who want to convey their music and their message instead of just trying to make money and get people at their concerts. You know, that's the stuff that I like. And support your local musicians. That's what I pushed with Sin City Rocks when I owned Sin City Rocks. We specialized in promoting local artists that were original. Instead of spending $60, $80, $100 to go to this concert that you're going to be one of 10,000, 100,000 people at, go spend $10 and go, you know, to this person's show and promote them. You know, they're the ones that are working the hardest for you.
Yep.
You know, that's what I recommend is go out and see the local artists. Get personal with them because you never know when that local artist becomes the next Metallica or the next Avenged Sevenfold or the next Shallow Side or, you know, or so on. I can just name drop all day long, but they all started somewhere. Promote those guys. They're cheaper.
I mean look at
they're
me.
more personal.
I helped start the band known as Shallow Side, and they're decently popular now.
Yeah. I mean, they're still played. What was the last time they released a single? I think it's been a couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think they've all been like holed up at home hiding from the pandemic. Because the singer lives a couple states away from everybody else. He moved away. And so I mean I have it's been kind of radio silence.
And then with musicians and artists, once when you peaked, you're done. Like Guns N' Roses cannot release a new single out and it be as popular as their old stuff.
Nope.
It just won't. I mean, you'll hear it at the
Saliva.
concerts. They might promote it a little bit to promote the concert, like here's a new single, but it will never be what Guns N' Roses was back in the 80s. You know, it never will. And people will never embrace it because they want to hear what they know. And so, like, old bands can't just come out with new music. So once when you peak, you're there. You're not coming out with anything new. I mean, even Ozzy struggles with his new stuff to get it as popular as his original stuff when Black Sabbath and all that, you know, and his old original artists. I mean, he's had, what, 4 new singles in the last year? And it still has not even touched what he's been able. Yeah. I mean, he just released his goodbye song saying goodbye to everybody because he's dying of Parkinson's.
Yeah.
You know? And it's an amazing song. I even told my wife, when I die, play Ordinary Man. I want that played at my funeral. You know, because, yeah. But it was Ozzy's goodbye song to everybody. But you know what? The radio stations, they touched on it a little bit. It had its little heyday for about a month or two, and then it just dropped off. And it's like, now the old Ozzy stuff, they'll play all day long, you know? But, yeah, once when you peak as a musician, if you don't stay up on it, and if you let it plateau, you're sunk. You've got to stay in the limelight. And the same thing with streamers and YouTube streamers. It's entertainment. You've got to literally, if you're not consistent with your content, you're never going to grow to the potential that you are. You have to be consistent. And I struggle with that because I've been trying to stream all freaking week, but something's happened every day that I got to go to the store, or I got to do this, I got to do that. And I'm like, well, it's 8:00 and I'm not going to be able to stream in time. So I guess I'm not streaming today. And I struggle with it.
It's 3:00 right now here in Vegas. What time is it there, Chewy?
6.
What time are you going to go on? 5?
Well, I was shooting for 8. I try to shoot for 8 p.m.
Okay.
You know,
well, I'll end the stream now and you can go on in 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, I got to get some food in me and I got to set up.
You got to order your printer too.
Yeah, well, I already did that. That's already on its way. So,
okay. All right.
But yeah, I gotta stream. I gotta get something to eat, and then I gotta set up cameras because with my airbrush, I've got multiple camera setups that I do, and I use OBS Ninja for all that. And I gotta set up each and every individual camera to get it ready, get my body mics on, and my lighting set up, and it takes me an hour to get ready for a stream. You know. So that's where I struggle at. So, but yeah, it's the same thing in entertainment. It's the same thing with music. If you're not consistent, you'll plateau. And I've learned that being in that music field that, yeah, if you're not consistent, you're going to plateau. And then next thing you know, you're playing nothing but casinos around the country. If you ever want to see old artists, just go look at a casino's calendar and you'll find plenty of old artists, man. So
it's true. That's most of the people that we go see here in Vegas. I mean, like Peter Cetera, you know, any of anybody that
Vegas
doesn't
is a
have
little different. They got Celine Dion and Rod
but
Stewart.
but they're on the Strip. And I'm talking about, like, you know, you go to Sunset
Aliante and all that.
And there's, you know, Chicago is there, you know, or you know, you go.
I love that concert. That was a great concert.
Actually, you know, I mean, like MGM had Neil Diamond.
Oh.
You know, I went to that. I didn't care.
Oh man, lucky.
You know, actually, I got and had free tickets to that. But there's so many different shows here, and for us, the better ones are not the headliners on the Strip, but the ones that we grew up with. Mm-hmm. That, like you were talking about, it's what we know, it's what we like. We don't want to change. We don't want to hear your new crap. We don't care what's on the radio. We have, you know, 80s on 8 on Sirius XM, and you know, and First Wave, and that's it. And if it's anything other than that, maybe a few other things that we like, but they're all off the Strip at the other casinos. And that's where we find them.
Station and Palace.
And you get an $8 ticket versus $80 to go see somebody that you don't like.
Exactly.
Yeah, Shadow thing. I'll check them out on the first when I get paid. I'll go to G Fuel and I'll order something, try it out.
But yeah, definitely with like you said, you know, it's at all the other casinos, and it's not even, it's like indie casinos too. Being a truck driver, you go around, you see you get anywhere near indie casino, all you see is old fogies from the 80s and stand-up comedians, you know, that you forgot about. And they're all at these indie casinos and stuff. But
it's like,
I miss living in Vegas.
The comedians seem to kind of bunch together. So you know, there's a lot of time. I drive right past South Point when I go to work, and It's there's always Andrew Dice Clay and 3 other people I never heard of. So he's the head. He's the anchor, right? And then you're being drug in to see these other folks.
Right next door to South Point, you got the Grandview timeshares. I worked on those properties for like 8 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I worked on almost every tower.
Wow.
Now, see, I lived in North Vegas, so I lived up there on the north side, over by the racetrack.
See, that's like, I don't know, for me, because I hate driving, so I'm all the way down by the M. So and for me to go to work, I just shoot up the 15 and hit the airport, and it's super easy. And because I don't work at the airport, I work in the air traffic control tower, so we basically have our own exit, which is nice.
Are
So
you an air traffic controller?
No.
Oh.
But I work for the FAA, but I'm not a controller.
Okay.
I'm in technical operations. Yeah. No.
I say because you don't look like an air traffic controller. Normally they're more alcoholic and.
Hey, Jason,
normally,
does the tower
I
have
scored too high. Yeah, I scored too high. They wouldn't let me do the air traffic
Does
control.
the tower have any kind of an escape activity in case something was to happen with a plane? Is there any way anybody can clear that floor instantaneously? Is there any kind of a fireman ladder?
You can go on the roof and jump off.
Well,
but if you're up in the cab, unless you can run down 24 flights of stairs.
You just got to wait on the elevator then. Or
I see that right there. That already kills me for that job because you just said there's
one elevator.
Stairs.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one elevator that works most of the time. It's pretty, it's pretty reliable.
Look, I'm fat. Gravity is my nemesis.
Look, we've got there's contingencies for, if the elevator breaks and it has, and there's only one tower elevator, the controllers do have to walk up the stairs and down the stairs. Yeah. So when that happens, or when that has happened, the plan is to put chairs every other floor with cases of water, bottled water for them to rest. So you only really have to go up 2 flights of stairs before you pass out and can drink water, and then try another 2. So
what's the tower, like 15 stories or something?
It's the cab itself is on 19, 20. It's actually at 21. The cab is on 21 floors. Yeah.
I've never worked on the airport. I worked on casinos forever for like 25 years, but I was never at the airport.
Yeah. It's off the airport property. But I mean, not by far. It backs up to the far end of one corner. So where there's a fence that actually divides our property on one side of the tower, but it's all the way on the farthest side of one gate. So
I think about, when I think of air traffic controllers, I always do a movie reference, and the one I think of is Pushing 10 with
John Cusack,
and
the other guy, Billy Bob
Thornton, and Alan Arkin. And
my favorite part, actually, my favorite part of that whole movie was the beginning, when he's driving home and all the houses were the same desert beige, and he pulled into the wrong house and he didn't realize it, and then he had to pull back out and look for his house and drive, because they all were exactly the same.
That's Vegas. Oh, I struggled with Vegas GPS. I had to keep my GPS on for a while until I figured out how Vegas was laid out, because you get lost
downtown. Yeah, and it's like most of the streets, I feel like 80% or greater of those streets were an afterthought to any plan they might have had. So they just go anywhere they could fit them, over, under, around, sometimes one direction, sometimes 3 directions. Is
the housing development still booming out there?
Is what?
Is the housing development still booming out there?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Housing prices are through the roof. Good luck trying to find a house. You gotta. Anyway, when I moved here in 1970 when I was 5 years old, and when I was a kid or a teenager, when you wanted to go to Mount Charleston, you'd have to drive out in the middle of nowhere for quite a while on Rancho or US 95, I guess, to get to the turnoff. Now they built houses all the way up to the turnoff. Everywhere they can build, except for my end of town, they built as far as they can build. So.
Yeah. So I'm as far as back as they can build. I'm at the edge of Sloan Canyon. So anything behind me is protected land. We're done now.
Going for all the other people out there.
going the other direction. If you keep going south, though, they've got another town center planned and more, and as far until they hit Las Vegas Boulevard again.
Do you have any
problem off the property line? You'll get shot.
So I live in I live in Hampton, Virginia, and I don't know if you're familiar with this area, but there's been people living here since like the 1600s in places. Oh. So it's nothing to have a house that's like 150, 160 years old. And like the way the roads are laid out, you can tell like it's layer upon layer upon layer of, oh, let's expand. Here's an afterthought. Here's an afterthought. And like you get into like the downtown part of Hampton, and you could see that it's like these roads were not originally meant for cars.
No, they're not, because they were based off of cattle trails.
All the casinos in Vegas are styrofoam and stucco, basically. So anything that gets old, they tear it down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just all EFIS. Yeah.
I mean, my neighbor's house was built in 1871.
Wow.
And that's the problem with New York City, and that's where they failed at, because that's why a lot of truck drivers won't go into New York City, is because, it was one of the original colonies. It was one of the original 13 colonies, and then they used to follow cattle paths for their roads. So when they designed it, they didn't design semis, because back then the semis were snub nose. They didn't have a hood in the front, and they didn't have as long of trailers. So New York City, when truck drivers, they hit cars and stuff because the roads are so narrow and trailers are so long now. And then with the truck having a long hood, they can't make those turns. So now they have crosstalks, just like at the borders, where they got to bring stuff in, and they have smaller trucks that will deliver it into the city, because the roads were not designed at the time to be able to handle those kind of semis. And with the parking on both sides, it really narrowed it down. And so you have to have a specialized truck to deliver in New York City now, just because of how narrow it is in New York City and New Jersey and all them, because it wasn't designed for what we have now.
There's been people killed in New York where chunks of those buildings are so old they're just breaking off. You'll have a statue or something up like 50, 75 stories, and it breaks off, he comes down, hits you in the head, and you're dead. Things like that. Things are crumbling everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not designed to have the kind of motor vehicles that we have on the market. And that's the same thing like Virginia and West Virginia, those 13 colonies, it was all cattle paths that they used for the roads, because it was easier, because they didn't have pavers, or they didn't have the smoothers out to be able to smooth down the road. So they had to use what the cattle already pounded down and smoothed down. And that's why we have narrow roadways out east and stuff like that. It was because of the cattle paths. And that's why there's tons of windy. It's like, if you're going to make a road, why didn't you just make it straight? Why'd you make it so windy? It's because the cattle traveled that. And that's why we have all the windy back roads that we have.
Didn't know that.
But yeah, it's like, it's a nightmare. Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I'm going to call it stream. I've been streaming for 3 hours and 17 minutes. That's been a good long time. So I'd like to thank all you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Nice talking to everybody. So, and everybody out there watching, I really appreciate you coming by and joining us today. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
And let's all go watch Chewy fail at airbrushing.
Yes.
It's what he said, not me.
Yeah, 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours on just look up LithyPick on YouTube. You'll find me. Or you can just go to lithypick.com and click videos, and it'll take you to my YouTube channel. So,
cool.
Yeah, I want to go grab some food, and I got to work on some projects in here and get a resin print going. I need to check out the time lapse. I don't have the cord plugged into it. I don't have the camera in the room. It's sitting right behind me, and I have to figure out how to make all that work. So,
yeah, I haven't played with it either.
Well, if you need help, let me know, and I'll help you. So,
all right.
Have you been using it?
No, but I know technology. I worked in IT for 13 years, and I build my own everything, and yeah, I build my own servers and all that stuff. So the concept of it just taking a picture every single time is easy, because I mean, that's just time lapse how it's done anyways. It's just being able to compile those images into a sequence to be able to make it look like it's coming out. The main thing is getting your lighting right and making sure that, your camera does not move whatsoever, because it will show in your thing when it takes an image. If it shifts any little bit, you will see it. It will be blatantly obvious. So make sure it's secure, make sure you're well lit, and just run that wire in. So,
well, if my next stream or in a week or two, you only see one dog running around instead of two, you'll know one of them knocked my camera over.
That's another reason why
I don't have to worry about that. Mine's in the lab downstairs, so they can't get down there. I won't let them anywhere near my resin stuff, because one dog will eat anything. I actually just had my dog, I just ran him to the hospital the other night because he was seizing really bad, like all frozen up and seizing, peeing himself and everything. And his eyes rolled back in his head. His tongue was sticking out. I was crying. I was like, oh my God. And I couldn't figure out why. And I took him to the vet. $300 later, I found out he just ate some weed and he's tripping balls.
Wow.
I took him over to a buddy's house, and I guess he flicks his roaches out the window outside, and I was letting him run around, and I didn't see that he was eating the roaches off the ground, and he overdosed on marijuana, and $300 later, I found out he was just feeling a lot better than I was. So
that's hilarious. But that's another reason I don't have resin. It's because I have 7 cats and 3 dogs.
Oh yeah, so you're just afraid that they'll get into it, you know. But luckily, I got a basement that I keep it locked down, and I don't let them anywhere near it. So.
All right, Jerry. I'll see you. I'm gonna head out.
Thank you guys. Take care. I wouldn't leave us on stream when I run my ending here. But everybody watching, thank you very much, and I'll see you back in a few days.
All right, man.